Got it bumping. KBHN. Sheesh.
All right, ladies and gentlemen. It's about that time once again. Straight Talk, No Chase in the building. I am your host, Trip Simpson. Along with the Honorable
Minister
the incomparable
Minister Cosby Digital.
The incomparable Cosby Digital. Kirk Keys.
I don't get no honorable.
Man, I got the janky microphone.
That's the reason I gave him all that. I told you not to touch that motherfucker.
Troubles in paradise.
Look at this shit. I quit.
It's all good. We're gonna make it work.
I'm about to leave it right here. We good.
Kirk Keys in the building.
Yo.
Say something.
Yo.
Something, nigga.
Something.
And my main man, at Jacob Newell, aka Too Tall. How you feeling, player?
Man, I'm just happy to be here, man.
I hear
for
that.
having me,
I hear that.
gentlemen.
Ladies and gentlemen, we got a wonderful show for you this evening. Got a lot to talk about. Say it ain't so, Joe. We got Joe Biden and Joe Rogan on the grill tonight. And we're going to get this thing cracking. We started a little late. So without any further ado, Cosby Digital, how you doing this week?
Excellent, man. Had a good day. Shout out to April Richardson, one of my clients, man. She's on QVC today. She did 2 shows. So I was playing tech support all day. But look, she sold maybe I sold 2,000 from the first show. I don't know how many shows she sold from the second show, but 2,000 cakes at $40, $42 a pop. She tried.
Facts. Let's go. What else you got? Normally you got a whole fucking
slew of things. Don't you got something tomorrow, buddy?
Oh yeah, Privilege Lounge tomorrow. Kim and Scooby, Serious and Company with Experience Band got an all new Wednesday show. Shout out to everybody who supported me at Tacoma Station, who supported me at Union. Fuck Union, by the way. But we had a new spot, man. Privilege Lounge. It's the old U Street Music Hall, 1100 U Street. They remodeled. That shit looks amazing. And guess what? The show is free tomorrow. So you can hear Kim and Scooby, you hear Experience Band for free, 7 to 11.
I don't shine shoes anymore.
Pull up for a great show.
Facts.
Oh, and I got a Valentine's show at Harlot. Paint and Sip. Motherfucker sales going through the roof. Shit gonna be sold out. Harlot on Monday, Valentine's paint and sip. So if you got a side chick or you got your main chick, you ain't figure out nothing to do on Valentine's Day. Harlot, we got a paint and sip with live music. Man, pull up to that. I'm just promoting all week.
Facts.
If you in LA, man, pull up to Henny and Waffles. I ain't even coming back till Monday. If you out in LA for Super Bowl, we back at Globe Theater. Remember that Globe Theater party, nigga? We back at Globe Theater.
Hey, look, don't be looking at me talking about reminiscing.
Soon as the Rams, look,
I was there.
Soon as the Rams won that shit,
there.
Globe Theater called, like, y'all coming back, nigga? We give you the venue for free. What y'all gonna do?
Facts.
Look up these pictures from Trip Simpson and Globe Theater. That nigga had this fancy. This is the fanciest shirt I ever seen a nigga wear. It had like animal print and some other print on this shit. I'm like, nigga, you came out here pimping? What is?
I mean, it's California.
That
you know what I mean? I had to, you know.
And he had the white Vans.
And Cali a different vibe.
Sit back at it again with the white Vans.
I had to do what I had to do. Kurt, what you got?
I see we gonna get going through the show today.
Oh yeah.
You almost stopped.
He's done.
Midway through, and you had all that to promote, and you wasn't gonna say nothing.
I'm tired of promoting. I've been promoting all fucking 2 weeks.
We got your back, bro. Don't worry. I've had a solid week so far. What's this? We on Tuesday. Last night I went to the D Smoke concert. That joint was solid. It was a grand time. What you over there whooping me for? Yeah, but went to the D Smoke concert.
His name is D Smoke, so
yeah, I retarded. Shout out to my brother Yusha Assad. He got to open up for D Smoke yesterday at the Fillmore. I got to meet Mumu Fresh. I wasn't hip to Mumu Fresh. I've seen her Tiny Desk. That joint is solid, but I got to meet her yesterday. She's a dope artist as well. D Smoke, I already messed with his album, one of them, but he got 2 albums. And when he was on what's that Rhythm and what was it called, Rhythm and Flow, something like that.
I don't even know who D Smoke is, man.
But you're not hip to like that BET show or MTV show, Rhythm and Smoke, something like that. He won that joint. He's from Inglewood.
Is that the one that's related to Sir?
I don't know if it's Sir.
I feel like they're brothers.
He related
to Sir and D Smoke are
He
brothers.
related to some artist that's out here.
Yeah,
so
Sir.
maybe.
They relate. I rock with Sir, and I've heard him feature with Sir.
So that's solid. The concert was actually good. It was a good time. So yeah, shout out to all those artists right there. Shout out to Sierra, the makeup artist. She's been a homie for like 10, 15 years, and I'm backstage with artists like for this concert, and she out there doing the makeup, man. She out here doing moves, making moves. Shout out to her. If you need your makeup done, it's like Sierra Tally Beauty or something on IG. Find her, follow her.
Facts.
Makeup done. She's solid.
Whatever the hell your IG is. We gonna get your real. Look, text
Sierra
Kurt right
Tally.
now if
It's
you
Sierra
listening.
Tally Beauty. I tagged her today. Just if you follow me, my Instagram is on the bottom of right under me if you watching, and I tagged her today. So there you go. Follow her. She on that joint. What else? We got this book, The Creative School. Follow the creative.school as well on Instagram so you can keep up this month. It's not black. It is Black History Month, but you said y'all had a convo on y'all podcast about how Black History Month is fluke or something like that.
If it's a joke.
Yeah, exactly. So I don't think it's a joke. I think it's solid, but I respect Black Futures Month. I think we should start talking about the future of Black as well, not just Black history. And so we about to come out with this book, Royal Exposure Volume 1, with our Queens and Kings of the Creative School, their pictures and interviews from their first season of their podcast. So we using that to fundraise the 2nd and 3rd season. So support, go on the website, donate, do all of that good stuff. Let us know how you going to support in 2022 because it's all Black everything.
Facts.
Per usual.
For sure.
What you got going on, Sean?
Me, man. You know me, man. I just be out the way. I'm a dad, man. I be playing daddy. But I do got the clothes, man. Hey, listen. I do got the clothes. Jacob Noel. Definitely check that out.
Tell them why it's called Jacob Noel. What's that in honor of?
Jacob Noel is actually my kids' middle names. So my son's middle name is Jacob, and my daughter's middle name is Noel. And I kind of put them together like they were someone else's name. And it's funny because everyone thinks it's someone else's name. People tell me they like the name all the time. Man, I like that Jacob Noel. but it's actually my kids' names, and I just put them together.
Facts. I seen some of your shit online, like some of your preview shit.
Yeah,
I did too.
It's pretty good.
I like that shit.
Did you really?
Yeah.
Damn, thank you all.
I want to know why you in here representing European brands, brother. You got the Moschino hat on. Where your dick? Nah, fuck with you.
He got the hoodie.
Hey, listen.
I'll just fuck with you.
Hey, because I get on myself. It's so funny you say that because I'm trying to move away from it, I swear, and just go with brands, my own brand, of course, and other people's brands.
I got the hats for you.
I had
my
a,
mom make hats.
I don't know, man. Your
Support my mom.
IG and Facebook is
It's crazy. It's crazy. It's
I'm
crazy.
like, yo.
But one thing, my buddy, my
you
man AP,
talking.
shout out to AP Live Fresh. He got a brand called Live Fresh. And
Shout out
one
to
thing
him.
about him that I love is he buys everyone else's brand. Even though he has one, he buys everyone else's. So I kind of want to follow in that mode and do the same thing. So.
Facts.
Shout out to With Great Care Apparel. Speaking of,
Facts.
Thank y'all for
I
having
know
me
you
too.
should.
Definitely. Ain't nothing going on with me. Same old thing.
if you only knew, guys.
Same old thing. Nothing new, man. Just dropped a video earlier about one of the topics that we're talking about tonight. So, without any further ado,
Check out Trippin' Ain't Easy.
yes, sir. Yes, sir. Tripping Ain't Easy is just a short form of this podcast that I do by myself because these guys are not readily available.
That's because he's selfish. That's why I do it by himself.
I kind of like that name too. Tripping ain't easy.
I
That's
do
a
because you be
dope-ass
tripping.
name.
And it
It's
ain't
not easy.
to do.
It seems pretty easy to me.
That's a dope ass name.
He been tripping ever since I known him. I known him since he was 7 years old. He been the same nigga.
Yeah.
So
That's a fact. But yeah, man. So I don't know, man. What do you got like? All of you guys are
You're like, do you want to talk about crack pipes first or
niggers. Crack pipers and niggers. What do you want to do first?
niggas with crack pipes? It's like, nah. Let's go with Joe Rogan. Might as well
let's
start
go
with the shebang.
Joe,
let's go with
Joe
Joe
shit
Rogan.
is a little more hot.
All right, well, I don't know, man.
Start
That
with
crack
Joe.
pipe is hot. That crack pipe is hot right now, man. That shit is scorching
I
hot.
already know you don't like baby boomers. He couldn't wait for this topic. Because
Whoa.
young niggas not even smoking crack no more. I think anybody smoking crack is at least 30 and over.
30? Damn, that's a young crackhead.
Yeah.
And but that's at the minimum.
I'd say about
I like to go
45.
with
Your
45
average
and
crackhead
over.
is he was born in 75.
But I also think before we make a joke about it, you should beware because when it first started, it wasn't no crackheads either. And then bow. So
No, it's gonna be the funny part. We lived in a generation of lean perks and that shit. It's gonna be
So they'll
people
survive
using
crack.
if they survive or they use in moderation. It's gonna be people who started drinking lean, doing perks.
So we're going
all
crack
that
first.
shit. They're gonna be
I guess so.
they're gonna be drinking lean at 60 and 70 and doing perks at 60 and 70. So it's gonna be a whole new area. So we can make fun of it, but man, addiction is not ultimately it's not nothing to joke about because we lost so many good brothers and sisters to addiction.
agreed. So I don't feel like we can make fun of it. And I think we should beware because there could be new crackheads on the horizon.
I hope not.
I mean, I'm a piece
But
of
the
shit.
but
I'll
the
tell you
problem is
about it.
fentanyl, man, hit the streets and it wreaked havoc. It's because this is the thing, right? You have people who use drugs; they're consistent drug users. We all had crackheads that outlived everybody in our neighborhood because I'm not gonna say they were responsible, but they understood the drugs they were using. They know how much they could use, how much they couldn't use. When fentanyl hit the streets, man, a lot of people started dying. We lost a lot of good elders, a lot of good people due to fentanyl, like people not knowing what they were taking. So,
And so is the idea that they're going to give out these crack pipes with regulations so that there's no fentanyl in it and so that people can do their drugs safely? Is that what this concept is? Anybody know?
No,
Anybody
it's not.
done any further?
I'll tell you what. Let's do this.
hold on, we confused the top. Which one we gonna address?
We started. We didn't. That's what we
started
said.
with Joe.
So
we got to
clearly,
try-
like we said, we're gonna have to guide you because we did say we were gonna start with Joe, but we never even talked
just
about
go
it.
with- let's just
we
go
started
with-
talking about
might
crack,
as
so
well
we said
start
we're gonna
with
go
that.
with crack.
We'll go with Joe Biden and crack pipe.
crack first.
So right, crack first. Listen. So Joe Biden has recently
Welcome.
The Joe Biden.
Hold on, let me read this. The controversy stems from a recently disclosed.
Slow down.
Hold on, I'm about to read it.
I have the article pulled up on the screen for the audience. You don't need to do that.
Reel them in.
Relax, bro. Relax.
Look, when I asked him for where, he be like,
Reel them in.
Relax. My dude, you're drunk. Slow down. Slow down, bro.
I just always do my research. I screenshot the article. That's why I asked you from where.
Great. I have a multitude of articles here that all say the same thing. Relax.
Multitude.
Relax.
I like it.
Let's go, multitude.
It's raining men. Hallelujah, it's raining men.
I don't know. He feeling spicy today.
You wanted a multitude. I don't know of what, but. All right. So let's get into this article, good people. Hold on now. All right, here we go. We're in business. The Biden administration to promote racial equity by giving out crack pipes and drug paraphernalia. This article is by CBN News.
CBN News, okay.
All right. The Biden administration is finalizing the necessary.
Hold on, real talk. Time out. Scroll back up. Can I see the headline again?
The Biden administration to promote racial equity by giving out crack pipes and drug paraphernalia.
Okay.
Hey, look, I don't give a shit about the Biden administration, but whenever you see a headline with quotes in that motherfucker, you got to take it with a grain of salt.
Bro, this shit said racial equity. Racial equity. I'm so twisted. Equity.
So look, I'm gonna get into it. The Biden administration is finalizing the necessary funding to give away crack pipes and other paraphernalia to drug addicts. Oh my God. The Washington Free Beacon reports a $30 million grant for Free Beacon. Reports a $30 million grant for the Harlem Reduction Program, which will begin in May. It will provide funds to nonprofits and local governments to help make drug use safe for addicts. It's all a part of the administration's goal of advancing racial equity. The Department of Health and Human Services oversees the funding of the program, which includes money for syringes and smoking kits and/or supplies. A spokesman for the department told the Free Beacon that these kits will provide pipes for users to smoke crack cocaine, crystal methamphetamine, and any illicit substance. HHS said that the kits aim to reduce the risk for those who smoke substances with glass pipes, which can lead to infections through cuts and sores. Applicants for the grants are prioritized if they greet a majority of underserved communities, including African Americans and LGBTQ persons, as established under President Joe Biden's executive order on advanced racial equity. Let's pause right there.
I've heard enough.
I want to get to the rest of the article, but yeah, let's pause there. We can't even get crack pipes to ourselves without the LGBT community taking those from us. We can't even get crack pipes. Jesus Christ.
That might have been the most offensive thing in the article to me.
Yeah,
actually.
I mean, like, bro.
But they aren't just.
Read this though. Applicants for the grants are prioritized if they treat a majority of underserved communities, including African American. They're incentivizing the promotion of drug use to our community.
Nah, that's not true.
The direct correlation of drug use to the African American community, bro.
is offensive. Right off the break.
So we got to get real about the situation that we live in, right?
That shit.
So this, as far as shock value, is shocking. If you hear, all right, they're prioritizing money for drug kits, right?
Right.
But one thing we figured out over our 30 to 35 years of life, that
Speak for yourself.
all of us that live in this room,
here.
Okay.
drug users are gonna find a way to use drugs no matter what. They're gonna use a fucking apple, a pen, whatever. They're gonna use what they want to use, right?
Right.
So if we're starting to prioritize money to actually help drug users use drugs in a safe way, it's data proven from countries who've decriminalized drugs like Portugal, different countries, Spain, different countries in Europe that have decriminalized drugs and actually put support for drug users, drug use has gone down. The medical cost behind treating drug use has gone down. Because one thing, if we don't have a whole overhaul of our system in terms of racial inequality, financial inequality, justice inequality, people are going to be hooked on drugs because they're trying to escape their pain. If we can't take away their pain, we can't treat drug use. And in America, we have this is a fact. Why do people? No, I'm gonna ask you a real question. Why do people use drugs?
Oh my fucking God.
Why do people use drugs, Trip Simpson?
Rich people use drugs.
No.
Everybody uses drugs.
Well, in our community, in the black community, in the underserved community, what is the majority of reason that people use drugs, in your opinion?
Because they don't have access to pipes. What the fuck are you asking me, man?
Why do people use drugs?
People have various uses.
I mean, like you said, these are people in the underserved community.
So people use drugs to escape their reality if you're in pain. If we're talking about the rich class, they use cocaine to enhance their fun experiences. They use Molly to enhance their fun experiences. When you go into underserved communities like black communities, they use heroin. They use crack cocaine. They use cheaper alternatives. They use malt liquor. They use cheaper alternatives to escape.
Who is they?
I'm not finished. They use cheaper alternatives to escape their reality, right? So you have two type of drug users in America, right? The top echelon drug user, the powder cocaine drug user, the Molly drug user, the drugs that have eventually been associated with the upper class, they've been treated with a slap on the wrist. But if you look at the drugs that have been associated with black people, the lower class, crack cocaine, heroin, they get the book thrown at them. We all know the crack to powder cocaine sentencing disparity that we're still trying to correct.
That's not the conversation.
No, it's all tied together.
No, it's not.
So they're talking about.
That's not the conversation.
They're talking about inequality in drugs.
No.
So that is directly tied to inequality.
It says this is a part of the Biden administration's plan for racial equity. That's their specific plan for racial equity.
So racial equity,
or at least a part of it.
Yeah. So racial equity.
What's the other part?
So racial equity goes through every single sector of American life. It goes by housing. It goes by access to jobs. It even goes to access to treatment. Because guess what a rich person can do? They can go to rehab, and they're not criminalized. But we can
just go straight to the pipe. Thanks to Joe Biden.
No, think about this. African Americans are still being locked up for weed.
Oh my God.
While white people,
it's not the fucking conversation, though.
No, it's definitely the conversation.
It's not.
You like to go on the sensationalized headline. So they're talking about funding for drug kits, right? So the people who are using heroin, who are using methamphetamines, who are using the lower class drugs are people trying to escape reality. So you're typically gonna be in a urban or more like dire situation. That's us.
Right,
we can't escape that. I'm finished right now.
All right. So listen, here's the thing. 80% of our vote, 90-something% of our vote went to this motherfucker to get something out of the fucking deal. And what do we get after we watch every other group who didn't vote for this motherfucker at the same percentage rate get tangible things? And finally, after a year and a half, this nigga says, I'm gonna give out free crack pipes to address racial equity. See, the problem with this whole situation is that we aren't getting the things that we really need for our community. I don't know about y'all. I don't know about y'all. I'm a little harsh with my shit. If you're still smoking crack, I don't give a fuck if you smoke out a dirty pipe or a clean pipe. Smoke your motherfucking self to death. Please.
That's terrible. That's somebody's mother, brother, sister. That's somebody's mother, brother, sister.
I mean, bro, that ain't nobody business but yours and Jesus.
Nah, it is.
Bottom line, I don't give a fuck. See, we need resources. We don't need crack pipes.
They forget trying to give reparations. let's just give crack.
And I guarantee you, they probably set up and thought this was a great idea.
Crack pass out. They just said.
Yo,
That shit it be stressing me out. Right? It's like we just beating around the bush here.
Look, it's your first time on the show. It's no middle ground. It's no nuance. It's either
a crack pass out.
They passing out crack and crack pipes, or they not doing nothing.
It's one thing we need and one thing we want. And nobody's asking for anything else except it.
No middle.
And they giving out everything else.
He made a great point.
Let the guest
Now,
go.
and I understand. I understand. I guess these centers are kind of like trying to counter this shit, I guess. But like to his point, he started out talking about fentanyl, and this fentanyl shit is in a lot of this shit. So it's like,
But they're not stopping the fentanyl.
you are letting people buy drugs off the street and come into these centers to use them, and then you're just hoping you can be reactionary to the reaction to the drugs, right? And do I have that right? Right?
No, because when in the history of drugs were we able to stop people from using drugs? From the first drug that was invented to up in 2022 right now, we have never ever been from alcohol
Then let
to
people
weed
smoke drugs in their house and
to
die.
hair. Nowhere in the history.
So what I'm saying is we are being reactional then, because we're allowing these people to buy drugs off the street, come into these centers, use the drugs, and then react to whatever happens after that. Correct? Am I wrong in that thinking?
You're correct.
I think I don't say you're wrong, but I think we're missing the fact that from the European empire corrupting the whole China with opium up until 2022 right now, we have never in the history of drugs been able to stop people from using drugs. Never. Because addiction is stronger than a law. It's stronger than sensibilities. We've all seen people wreck their whole families.
But you're wrong.
Can I counter that?
Yeah, the point you just made.
Wreck their whole family with addiction.
I want to counter that
Go
with
ahead, Kurt.
also in that same time frame, we've never seen the government successfully implement something that still didn't get passed through. So it's not to say that there will be like crack pipes implemented into the system that don't also still have fentanyl in it. And then on the back end, they're gonna be like, 20 or 30 or 20,000 crack pipes were sent out that had fentanyl, and so some people might still die. And then you still worried about it.
It's gonna be fentanyl in the crack pipe. It's just
Fentanyl is definitely in heroin.
Yeah. So it's
in
gonna be
everything now.
That's what I'm saying. We act like it's not everything though.
I'm not telling you what I think. I'm telling you what I know. These drug dealers, they definitely cut the heroin with the fentanyl. Yeah. So
it's just the game is at a real dirty ass place to where as though it's a reflection of what we're going through, even in an economy, whereas though niggas are willing to do whatever.
And all I'm saying
to get a dollar, whatever, whether your auntie,
industry,
your cousin.
It's now at every level going federal. You're giving the government control of the drug industry from like literally top to bottom. They handing out crack pipes. That's like Amsterdam on the wire. Like that's what that's giving.
And then you have the aspect whereas you have people in bondage for this shit, for the heroin. People who possessed it and people who sold it. So, because you have some of these addicts are like I said in bondage, and they're just drug addicts. So now you're saying we're gonna allow these people to come in these centers and abuse this shit, and then you still got people locked up for this shit.
Because then who's even to say that black people are who they're gonna even end up like supposedly benefiting from that system? Because every time there's minorities involved in something, you know who ends up hijacking it in the first place, number one. And number two, the article even mentioned LGBTQ. And I wasn't even talking about them hijacking it, but that's a number two. And it's who's to say that we even end up benefiting? Because you see, like, we always get the bottom of the barrel.
I like this. I like to interject real quick though, because I want to make this clear, like
that there's not even the intent for us to benefit in this in the first place. If that's what you was about to say, but I feel you. I'm just saying the pros and the cons.
So let's get something clear, right? This administration has not implemented anything to the benefit of Black Americans yet. To this day,
they haven't.
And this comes out as a oppose for some sort of policy for racial equity, like the fact that they would even make this statement should be the ultimate insult. Because you have most of the people who go out and vote don't even do fucking drugs.
Nah.
What the fuck? Hold on. What the fuck? Like, you went out and voted for this dude, right? And in your face, it took weeks to get the Asian anti-hate bill. Within weeks, the Biden administration was contemplating paying $450,000 apiece to quote unquote victims
Afghan refugees.
No. Fuck the Afghan refugees. The victims of the quote unquote being detained at the border, which they should have never crossed in the first place. So understand what they're telling you right now. You gave us 90% of your vote and we're giving you crack pipes. Oh, we know what you want. Don't even worry.
So look, this
crack pipes.
This is like looking. This is like I have no expectations at this point, right? This is like looking for a loan from Scrooge McDuck, right?
Right.
You are like, you know, I stay back. What's gonna happen this first 30 days, first 60 days, first 90 days? Oh, okay, this is the same old situation, right? So I am not
unacceptable.
I'm not
You was
shocked.
vouching for that,
Yeah,
man.
I'm
definitely
not,
was.
I'm,
You was vouching
I'm
for that,
not
man.
shocked
Heavy
in the ball. So
2020.
let's go back to it. What have I always maintained? What I voted on this Green Party.
Nah, not
You
this
switched
year.
up a couple times, bro.
He was super Democrat this year. I mean,
I said I
last year.
supported one of my friends who worked in administration, but who did I vote for? Green Party. We can pull the tape. The tape don't lie.
There's been multiple
The
tapes.
tape don't lie.
There's been multiple tapes of you saying that you was fucking with Biden because I made sure that you said on record after you said it multiple times.
Why? Why did I say that?
So that it was clear.
But you said you
What
was
do you
fucking
think?
with him.
Because I had a friend in administration.
I don't
I'm
care
gonna,
why.
and
The
I'm
reason
going to
is
support
irrelevant.
my friend.
The reason
That's
is
what I
irrelevant.
said. But when I said I live in D.C., so I know
If
what my
your-
vote
if your
counts
friend
for,
jump
what
off
do
the
I
Devil's
vote?
Bridge, you gonna jump with him? I guess so. Cause look what you did.
But that don't mean I don't. So look, I have the ability to change my mind. I had.
You do.
I
So
had-
you
look,
can change it. I'm just saying.
I had more
Don't
faith.
sit here and
I
be
thought
like,
he would do more.
I don't care 30, 60, 90 afterwards because I didn't expect blah, blah, blah. Because if you ain't expect that shit, why did you do it in the first place while niggas
the-
was telling
and
you
the
exactly
funny
what's about to
thing is,
fucking happen?
The funny thing is,
one of my look.
the nigga you talking about, I fuck with that nigga too.
So
He's been on the show before, but at the same time, I tell the nigga, bro, I fuck with you, but I'll never vote for the fucking administration that you work for.
We're not the same.
I would never
we're
vote
not.
for him.
You are an associate of his. You know him. That's my friend. So if one of your best friends got a job high as shit in the president administration, and you decide not to speak negatively till you find out if they win or lose, and after they win or lose, you can go back to your original views. If I got to stand on that, I'll stand on that. And I mentioned on the show why I was supporting Biden, because I had a friend that's high as shit in administration. Did I not say that on the show?
So if your friend can outwardly and openly support an open bigot, a nigga who's giving eulogies for multiple Ku Klux Klan Grand Wizards, and who's also giving a eulogy for the most racist senator in American history, but because he works for him, you're gonna support him. That's your stance.
I support my friends.
Exactly.
In the administration.
That's your stance.
I've been
your stance is fucked up.
I've been on, but
Your
you can
stance is
say what
fucked up.
you can say what you want to say, but I've been on record as saying
I can say
my
facts.
homeboy is in the administration, so I'm not gonna say nothing bad against Biden because
That wasn't what you just said.
I wanted him
You
to win.
just said you support the administration because your homeboy is in it.
So me supporting,
I will let the country go to shit
so me
for my
supporting
friend.
them and not saying anything bad about them is
That's
two
not
different
what
things.
you just said.
So me supporting them was
Crazy.
not criticizing them.
All right, man.
So
You definitely on one tonight.
So
Loyalty's a motherfucker.
yeah, loyalty is a motherfucker. So Trip Simpson, you're one of my very, very good friends, right? I don't agree with.
I hope you vote Republican
I don't agree with every
when Trip is on that campaign.
I don't agree with every political stance or political leaning that you got, right?
don't expect you
But
to.
if you got some shit brewing that's gonna make you some bread, and whether I disagree with you or not, I'm gonna stay on the sidelines. I'm gonna stay on the sidelines. I'm not
I don't
gonna
think your views were staying on the sidelines, though.
I'm not
Your
gonna
views were
criticize the
very
situation.
leaning towards
I
their
mean,
direction.
We're great friends, but we argue about our political ideologies all the time on the show.
But what I'm telling you, if it's bread on the line, I'm staying on the sideline.
To stand on the sideline means support. Not being funny, from my understanding.
He just
Because
said,
you,
but,
was supporting that.
but see, he's double speaking because just prior in this episode,
Support-
he said he supported Biden.
Support to me was staying on the sideline because I've been critical of the Democrats up until that point. Who do I say I vote for every year on this show since 2016?
You said Biden, but you also said
No.
the Green Party.
Who do I vote? The Green Party. I voted for the Green Party in every election since I was able to vote since the first time Obama was
Well, we
elected.
asking about
Every
this
time
one.
else, I voted for the Green Party.
I mean,
every time
we
I get on the show,
2020.
A communist is a communist to me.
what's my political party? It's the Green Party.
We talking about
the
30
only time I did not. Well, I still voted green even when Biden was in there because I live in DC. I know my vote don't really count. I still voted green. So, but what I did not do, and what I normally do, is criticize the warmongering, the double talk, the double speak, the centrist policies of the Democratic Party that I normally would condemn, would comment against. I didn't because I had a dog in the fight.
So
And that's what that is.
So I put it to you like this.
What's your dog in the fight
if I
doing
gotta-
now?
but-
What is that
Buddy,
nigga
his
doing?
buddy in the
Is he
administration.
helping? Is he saying anything? Is he giving some guidance? Is he letting you know, I'm sorry, I'm trying to give some guidance, but these niggas ain't listening. They saying fuck
Yes.
us. They about to take us down.
Yes.
Like what is he saying now?
Yes.
You know
The
what I'm
crazy
saying?
part
Like-
is, this is what I told the man behind closed doors. We won't mention the guy's name, but I told this nigga that behind closed. Yo, they don't fuck with you. They are using you. They're using you. They're using Simone Sanders. They're using all you niggas. And what did they do? Look at Simone Sanders now. Washed. She thought she was gonna be the White House press secretary. What is she? They gave her. They put her in the basement in Kamala Harris's office somewhere, and she quit that job. Man, they don't fuck with us, and that's my point from the jump. Why?
I agree with you.
Why
So-
fuck with these people?
So I'm
man?
I definitely.
I'm
hey,
not
Trip,
disagreeing with you right now.
I think Trip, you are a part of a demographic, right? And me and you have tested on this on online before, but I think you're a part. A lot of our demographic has democratic fatigue, bro. They like over them. They're tired of them, bro.
Facts.
The message is getting old. The message is getting stale.
But they give you every reason to be because they don't even follow up on the message. Every
See,
time
me, like
they
me-
gave you the black guy, like even if you had hope, even if you thought maybe there is some fight in them that they actually messing with you, they gave you the black guy, and he ain't do it. And then they basically the opposition of the black guy was the devil to us because they were able to paint him as that, and then they didn't even have to give you anything other than the devil to oppose him, and you were willing to go with that too. So it makes it look like now you just willing to go with anything because fool you want, shame on who? How George Bush said it, he fucked it up too, right?
This is what he said.
Fool me once,
fool you
shame on
twice.
you. Fool me twice. I can't get food again.
Yeah, exactly. But obviously, we just gonna keep getting food. Like eventually,
look.
you gotta do something that's gonna make some sense for you.
I was ready to vote for Ice Cube and Diddy. I was looking for any. We've had a whole
gave you
show about
Kanye,
that.
and you still ain't want
We
him.
was looking at the platinum plan. We was looking
We-
at all
we
that
did.
shit.
We did.
We talked about all that
You
shit.
ain't mess with Kanye though.
Nah, he's disingenuous, bro. Like,
So I
at least,
do want
at least
you,
keep it $100.
I do want to guess in that. Now, Kirk, this is a good example of hurting people. You shouldn't have cut off too tall. He was trying to get his point off.
Nah, I think he was done. I was feeling him. I agree with him. I co-signed what he was saying.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, just
My bad, though.
a lot of us got the fatigue.
Hurt people,
man.
hurt people.
The fatigue is real. The fatigue is set in. So, I can't even be mad at people about that shit, bro. I go at my mom about that shit. My mom was born in 51. So, she voted Democrat every fucking time, all the fucking time. And, I go at her about some topics and, I know she tired of hearing my mouth. I'm real live independent, bro. Because I look at that shit like this. You have Republicans, you have Democrats, and both of these parties are controlled by white people and white boys. And the Democrats, they are at the top of the ladder, and they just look down and they just say, "Oh, we see you all down there. Here goes some supplies, so you all are comfortable while you're down there."
Like crack pipes.
like crack pipes and shit like that. And then the Republicans, they're just different. The Republicans, they sit at the top of the ladder and they look down and they're just like, hey,
No more crack pipes.
we made it up here. We figured out how to make it up here. You all figure out how to make it up here. I feel like that is like it's
We'll
the
give you some
simplest
good
form,
rules and
but-
shit to figure it out
but
on your way.
that's
But you
how
gotta
it
do
is. That's how it is.
Play by the rules.
Neither one of them are literally giving us the game like, hey, this is how you get up here. Neither one. The Democrats are saying, hey, we see you down there. We're gonna give you this to make you comfortable while you're down there. The Republicans say, hey, we see you down here, but we figured out how to get up here. You figure out how to get up here.
No, we got to take it one more step with the Republicans. They say, nigga, if you can make it through all this and you get a bankroll, nigga, we'll take you in because you special. Like, we're
But the
look.
Democrats are the same exact way.
Nah,
not-
no, they
I'm
not.
not gonna lie, I can't agree
Nah,
with that.
Republicans different.
The
They
Democrats
respect
are
the
the same exact
The
way.
Republicans respect the bag, right?
That's America. America
Everybody,
respects the bag.
everybody,
You think
everybody,
the Democrats don't?
because
That's why they giving the people who don't have one the scraps.
No, I'm
That's
just.
why they saying,
I'm
hey,
just
we'll
saying,
shut you up.
It's a difference, right? If you
But if you can take these scraps and use them to actually work for something to get up here with us, then more power to you. We'll fuck with you up here too. It's the same thing. You just
if
looking
you
at it
pull up-
different
if
because you
you
feel
pull
more
up-
Shiny
comfortable.
shoes anymore.
if you pull up on a Sean Hannity, a Larry Elder, a Donald Trump type, right? And you got bread. That's why throughout the 90s and 2000s pop culture, Donald Trump was up there because any black celebrity who had money that was around Donald Trump, he had a certain amount of respect for him because you got money. But if you didn't have bread, like, oh, that's my African American over there. And it taught me something that Republicans are about power. So if they can co-opt you to stay in power, you got bread, you'll advocate our policies, even if it's against your best interest because of your group, but because you have money, you got wealth, and our policies are to help wealthy people, I can co-opt you to go against your own group.
And what you're saying is
whoa,
Democrats don't
You
even
can say
need
the
you to
same-
have the money to do that. We'll just try to convince
Yo,
you to
yo,
fuck
yo.
with us over
Hey,
here, even if
CD,
you
you
don't
can say-
have it.
you can say the same
Because
thing
we're
about
going to tell
Democrats.
you everything
Hey,
you want to hear.
Let me
And
tell
we
you
need
this.
you to go
Let me tell
fuck
you
with
this.
us.
I
Matter
can
of
agree
fact,
with that.
matter of fact,
It's
don't
the
even work
same
hard.
shit.
The Democrats say, don't even work hard. Just put this dress on.
Yeah. And we'll let you come
We'll
hang
give you
with
everything
us.
you need.
So I'll say
We'll
one.
make it comfortable.
I'll agree with you, right? I'll say one thing.
Oh, my
the Republican Party, that's their whole MO regardless. The Democratic Party has levels to this shit. You got your Hillary Clinton, Bill Clinton, Joe Biden, Barack Obama type of Democrats where they are now, which 20 years ago they would have been Reagan, right? You have those people, but then you have your actual reformist Democrats. Then you have your
Like
liberal folks like that. Let's see, Bernie Sanders, Cortez.
Communist.
Okay, so that's where we at. That's it. Look, we don't want the show to lose credibility.
look.
You can't start yelling out communists. You can't do that.
I fuck with Bernie. Bernie didn't want to.
Fuck, I look
Yeah.
invisible,
He didn't,
nigga.
want,
That's where we
he
at.
didn't want a communist government. He just wanted some communist policies sprinkled in.
Thank you
I ain't mad
for
at that.
But whole time we have plenty of communist policies in America that we don't want to admit.
Bro, communism.
We took the best elements and demonized the rest of it.
Yeah.
I know you're gonna look after family. What family you talking about, Ice? Fuck, I look invisible, nigga.
Because guess what? Social Security is a communist policy. And none of these old white motherfuckers in West Virginia, Utah, whatever flower of America will give up their Social Security right now. Will they?
Listen.
Well, hold on.
Hey, listen, I'm
answer
paying to that
Trip
shit.
Simpson.
I'm
Will
not
any of
giving
these
mine
white
up.
people? Any of these white people give up? Will any of these white people give up their Social Security?
You better hope it
to,
lasts for when you get there.
Be against communism?
Right. Hey, the way shit going.
First of all, Social Security is not communism.
Yes, it is. It's literally taking
it
the
could be a
community's
communist-
taxes to take care of everybody else.
Bro, it
if
could
you
be a
look up the
communist
definition of communism,
policy.
that's communist. It's a communal policy that everybody gets to take advantage of. That
Everybody don't
everybody
get to take
contributes
advantage
to.
of. I can't take out Social Security
Hey, Trip.
when I retire. I can't.
Do you contribute to it?
No.
Yes, you do.
Yes, you do.
No,
Probably.
as a civil servant in Washington D.C., I don't contribute to social.
That civil servant shit is different. Yes,
I don't contribute to Social Security.
Do the majority of Americans contribute to Social Security?
Some
Yes.
do,
Yes, the majority of Americans contribute to Social
but no,
Security.
not everybody.
The majority of Americans contribute to Social Security.
But here's the thing: the majority of Americans have the option. Well, have the.
So do you disagree with social safety nets? Do you not like that? Or
I don't disagree with them, no, because I think there's positivity to them. But at the end of the day, when you go too far on the deep end with that shit, that's when it gets a little muddy.
You think that's what Social Security is, too far on the deep end?
I don't.
I'm not challenging you. I'm just asking for.
I don't. I think it's a great policy, actually.
All right.
So I mean, Social Security I have no problem with because you're working, getting money for your family, and while you're working, right, you have the option of taking the money that you work for, starting a business, and becoming a capitalist yourself, and you can still bank off of Social Security. Great policy. That's not communism, though. Communism is a much deeper, darker.
What's the definition of communism?
Pussy.
Hey,
No, hear me out though. It's pussy.
at its core,
It's pussy.
at its core,
Because you give,
at
and
its
you
simplest
give.
form, the definitions of communism or socialism aren't bad. Those aren't bad terms.
We have both. We have those policies in America. That's the mind blowing shit that we have.
And all that
these
shit, it
policies.
gets funky. But the
Yo,
actual definition of communism and socialism, they aren't negative.
I'm a stone cold capitalist, straight up.
So listen, hear me out, right? So if you really understand capitalism, you know in order to have a rich, there has to be a poor. That's how capitalism works. You cannot have rich people and not have poor people with capitalism, right?
Right.
So now with that being said, that's why I'm a fan of social safety nets, because I'll be honest, when you have socialism and when you have communism, you're not going to have these millionaires and billionaires. You're not going to have these people. You're not going to have
Before you cut them off, I'm going to answer
You're not going to have them, right? So I don't believe that a person who works hard should not receive the fruits of their labor. I don't care. I don't want to punish another person. I don't want to put another person down so this person can get up. However, I don't want to limit the other person from the fruits of their labor at the same token. So while there is capitalism, I do support social safety nets for people who opportunity is a motherfucker in America, bro. If you don't got opportunity, you aren't open to, you know what I'm saying? You don't have the ways and the means to get certain opportunities, you're gonna be behind the 8 ball.
All right, so I'm gonna be real. So I'm a capitalist. I love capitalism, right? My stance is a little harsh, right? But it is what it is. I like capitalism. I love capitalism, and I wish black people would participate in capitalism, because I believe that if we did so, our situation wouldn't be as bad. I'm not saying it wouldn't be bad, because there's other things that need to take place that could get us to that point, right? But see, I understand capitalism. There has to be a rich and a poor. My stance is I don't want black people to be poor.
Yeah, we don't got to be the poor ones.
We don't have to be the poor.
We don't have to be the poor
I'm perfectly
ones.
okay with black people being upper middle class and above for the most part, and seeing other people poor. You know why? Because they don't mind seeing us like that.
Or if the poor is a majority.
So I'm not one of them. Yeah. Hold on. I'm not one of them. And much respect to Dr. Martin Luther King, right. But I'm not one of them Dr. King niggas that want to see everybody rich and everybody fruitful. No. My ancestors built this fucking country, one of the richest countries in the world. So I believe that we should benefit off the fruits of our ancestors' labor. Right. If you want to hop the border and come over here and get the boot off your neck for a second, I'm fine with that.
Right.
But you can't jump in line over me.
Right.
Fuck no.
No, that's a fact.
I agree with that.
That's my stance on that.
So I'm a capitalist as well. So I agree with everything you said in that statement, that black people need to understand how to participate in capitalism in terms of investing in the stock market, getting life insurance, buying property, all of the vehicles that lead to wealth that we've traditionally been locked out of, right?
Right.
And now we're at the point in society we are not locked out of participating. We're just getting locked out of the information. So now that we have the opportunity to have access to this information, black people got to get on your job.
Right.
Don't die and don't have your family life insurance, right? Don't die after you took all your money out of your 401k, right? We have to understand the vehicles of wealth in this country and start participating in that at a level that we have not before. So I'm all for capitalism. I don't like the projection of capitalism from conservatives, right wings that, you know, you got to pull yourself up by your bootstraps. You have to figure it out on your own, because that's not real capitalism. Because most of these people that are in place are not self-made, right? They are benefiting from generations of money that comes from slavery, from these institutions like slavery that built their capital up in this country. So these notions of we made it on our own are false. I like that you mentioned Dr. Martin Luther King. This is one of the things they censor about Martin Luther King. He talked about how European immigrants, European peasants came to America and were given land. They were given land, and all of these land grant colleges, all of the A&Ms, the A&Ts, they were established by the government. They were established by the government to teach white people how to farm land that they were given by the government to expand America's financial power. So then you can't do that and then turn around and tell me and mines that
costs $50,000 a semester.
Yeah, nigga, figure it out. Get your bootstraps.
That's a fact. I agree.
When European immigrants were bootstrapped, literally, to prominence in this country, and 400 years of free labor made America the economic power that we are today. And that gets lost in a lot of conversation, especially on the conservative side of capitalism.
I would say on both, but you're right.
Yeah, it's definitely on both, but they tend to lean on, well, I did it, you can do it, but the starting line is not the same. So I just want to always keep that conversation in perspective. Even though I am a business owner, I am about capital. I'm trying to get rich in America, because make no mistake, mark my words, it's definitely better to be rich here than poor. If you gonna live here, nigga, get rich, or at least get nigga rich. Have a couple 100,000.
Let's go to Too Tall. Go ahead.
No, I was about to say, I think our conversation has to start changing, because you know, for a long time, us as black people, I think we had a sense of I don't even know if this is a word, but I say victimhood. We had a sense of victimhood where we kind of embrace being the victim, right? You know what I'm saying? We kind of embrace being the victim. We kind of embrace being behind the 8 ball. Like, one thing I tell people all the time, especially now and today, and it's been like this for 30 or 40 years, but the best way to establish wealth in America is to own a home. And if you hip, and after the war in the 60s and shit, they had all those laws and rules that worked against us as far as owning a home. They made it hard when they were building highways and freeways of crazy in America. Homes were going up left and right. They made it hard for us to own a home.
Facts.
Yeah, absolutely. Black people did not have access to the GI Bill. That's what you're talking about.
The GI Bill, when they came home from the war, that shit was crazy, the disparity between the GI Bill, how it worked for white soldiers and how it worked for black soldiers. That shit was crazy.
Literally, the white suburbs were created by government
policies. And the GI Bill, bro,
were created by government policies.
No argument.
And that's, like I said, that's how you establish wealth in America. So we were definitely behind the 8 ball. However, now in 2022, our conversation has to change. Whereas we kind of embraced the victim shit at first, it's like we need to let that shit go. Feel me? Because it's behind us.
There's no power in being a victim.
It is what it is. It happened. Now we need to teach each other the ways of the future. Like you said, capitalism. We need to start participating in this shit. We need to be teaching each other about stocks and bonds. Like he said, a lot of people don't know white people establish their wealth on life insurance, bro. They take life insurance policies out on each other, their family members, their wives, their sons. This is, I'm just giving an example. Hear me out now. Now this shit is unfortunate, but it happens. You could be a grown man. You might have you could be in your 50s. You have a 21-year-old son or something, right? He's out drinking one night, crashes, he passes away. It happens. But guess what? You had life insurance on him. You're going to get a bag on your son passing away. Now, do you want that money that way? Do you want to receive it that way? Hell no. But however, y'all, life happens. This is real shit. And this is what white folks do. They take I'm a dad. The white dad will take out the policy on his wife, on his daughter, on his son, on her, on him. And you get what I'm saying? On grandma.
And look, it's no coincidence that.
I mean, it's deeper than that.
Hold on. It's no coincidence why it's only one group of people in this country who kill each other over life insurance. We haven't even thought to do that because we don't even have life insurance.
It's deeper than that. Employers take life insurance policies out on their employees. Ask me how I know.
Because he got him. Little Ray at the daycare. Yes. If you slip and fall and get hit by the X2, they gonna get a back.
This shit is real. This shit is real. And this is shit we don't be doing or be, privy to information we don't have. But man, it's critical, bro.
But now you just said, do you know, like, let's say you go to work for Walmart, right? Mm-hmm. And when you sign in your paperwork, Walmart says, yo, hey, sign this right here, like, just in case you die, like, yo, we'll give you $15,000 towards your funeral. Just a little policy, man, we do for our employees.
Right.
You sign it. I'm not saying you shouldn't sign it, because this is a good thing. They give your people's $15,000, but if you die, blah, blah, blah. But that's not the extent of the policy.
Right.
They getting 100.
It's not.
They getting 100 off of you.
They're gonna write you off.
Yeah, they're gonna write you off and collect the rest of the policy. Mm-hmm. So honestly, yo, it's about being hip. But like, we skirted way off from the topic, right? Which is crack pipes in place of reparations or a black agenda. And I think it's clear where we all stand. As painful as it may have been for some of us on the panel to admit, the Biden administration is full of shit. I think we can all agree on that at this point. Crack pipes, come on, man.
Now, I will say this, and maybe you all can give me more information on this. I know that this type of policy has been implemented in other countries and shit. I did read that,
and it's worked in other countries.
I was about to say I don't know to what success.
So if you look at every country who's decriminalized drugs and made drug use more safe in terms of providing people supplies that they're gonna use, because one thing we've learned from the history of people that you cannot stop people from using drugs when they want to use drugs. No country in the history of the world has been able to do it. They couldn't kill their way out of it. They couldn't lock their way up out of it. They couldn't do it because people's urge to do what they want to do is stronger than whatever laws that are in place. Now, some countries got smart and decriminalize it for the betterment of society. America got smart and criminalized it to keep down the people that they wanted to keep down in our society. I experienced this firsthand this week, right? My younger brother, 29 years old, experienced his birthday. He's locked up in federal prison in Florida, right?
Right.
If I wanted to send him a letter by email, I have to buy a stamp on JPay. Stamp costs like $4. Why am I buying a stamp for email?
Right.
Because somebody's making money off it. So it costs for him to send me a letter and me send something back. It's a stamp both ways. Now this is an electronic transaction, right?
Right.
Costs a stamp. If I want to video call him, it's like $12, right? So in America, we got smart not by decriminalizing drugs. We got smart by over-criminalizing shit, right?
Right.
To make money. You know what he also is on? He's on a work detail. So he's cutting grass. He's might be making license plates. You know what niggas got to do in jail. Like the more advanced jails, niggas is you call T-Mobile, AT&T, Verizon. Your customer service is people in jail. So America said, how do we transfer from slavery to black codes to Jim Crow to modern forms of incarceration? Shout out to Michelle Alexander. She had a great book about
that's
this.
on the books.
Yeah, how black labor has always been exploited, but it's changed hands. So right now, the prison industrial complex owns black labor. They own what we produce, and they own how we contact our loved ones.
But that's because we still got slave labor laws. I mean, slave era laws.
We do. But it just let me know that countries got smart about drugs. It's just, what were your intentions with your population?
Yeah, but I'll say this: when you look at countries who decriminalize drugs, right, outright, the Netherlands, a lot of countries in Europe, right, 95% of their populations are white. So it's a little different here, because when you're talking about decriminalizing drugs in America, for the most part, even though the numbers may not even add up, the first person's thought process, oh, this is for black people, right? When in actuality,
it's for white people.
It's for poor people.
Right. So my whole goal behind trashing Joe Biden and this policy is to get black people to understand that you have to look at yourself and your community as more than just a bunch of people that do drugs, especially the people that go out and quote unquote call themselves educated on the issues
that shit
and vote.
Is really for Joe Biden's son.
Right. Because he's a fucking crackhead.
Exactly.
So the bottom line is we can't accept these type of policies as a tangible, because they don't give us any real benefit. They still keep you in the same downtrodden position that you started in. And you've been voting for these people for 60 years.
But that's, like I said, that's Democrats for you, in my opinion.
It is.
They just help you cope. They help you cope. Neither side is giving you the game, bro. That, like,
I disagree.
You know me and you.
I disagree.
Listen, hold on. Now, hear me out.
You might not want to hear the game.
I really believe the Republicans are like, come play if you want to play. But
I was about to say, they might show you. They might show you.
They about to help you play.
It's play under certain rules. It's definitely playing to certain rules.
You don't have to wear a dress or get vaccinated.
It's like joining the fraternity. You do gotta sell your people out though.
Yeah, I'm about to say you might gotta
sell them out with the Democrats.
Ain't the same, my G.
I think we sell them out more with the Democrats, though.
I agree.
In a different way, my G.
In a different way, yeah. It ain't the same. But I agree. In a different way.
I think we're selling our people out more fucking with the Democrats than we are with the Republicans.
I'll put it to you like this. I'm not a Democrat or a Republican.
Me neither.
But I'm definitely a motherfucking conservative. For sure.
So I'm
hard body. I'm a hard body conservative.
Right.
So we got to look at, if we're comparing, if we always,
I got some ways I can't lie.
If we're defining the Democratic Party by Joe Biden, Hillary Clinton, Barack Obama, no, I want to be clear. I want to be clear.
It's hard for us not to, because that's the representation.
20 to 30 years of history.
That's the whole. 30 years of history. We're actually deleting my whole life, because if we take away Hillary, let's take away her husband. If we take away her husband, let's take away the person that came after her. I mean, him, Obama. So we're literally taking away all the Democrats' representation. You're saying let's get rid of them, delete the guys who.
So why are we going to be here? So why are we going to be disingenuous about the people in the Democratic Party who oppose these people?
It's irrelevant, because they obviously are not powerful enough to do anything about it.
They all vote for the same.
They're not powerful enough to do anything about it.
I'm gonna tell you,
they succumb to the bullshit, and they don't step away and be like, we do not support this shit right here. As long as they're doing it, you have some other leaders that you can believe in that will not go along with this. Come support us, and let's see what traction we can gain. They act like they're not powerful enough or strong enough to do that, and you support that weak ass shit. I'm not here to support any weak leaders. If you are showing me that you lead in a weak manner, hey, focus. I'm not supporting any weak leaders. If you show me that you support in a weak manner, it's forget you. And they show that.
So you said something poignant. Whoever said the last 20 years,
30.
30. I would say 20. You
I
made
would
it.
say 30 for 30.
When let me see, Clinton
92.
was,
It's 2022.
yeah, I would say 30.
30.
So if you say that, I can agree with you in a certain extent that the Democratic Party has been co-opted by centrists. You know, money interests
For
right?
30 years?
So that's why. So the funny,
'em.
the
Start
funny,
a new
so
party,
the funny,
'cause
so the
that's what
funny, so the
represents
funny.
you.
No, so the funny part is, I've always advocated for a third party on this show. I think the only way to bring our political system to any type of balance
It's with a third party.
is with a third
But
party.
what does the Green Party stand for?
I agree. I agree with that.
Look, have you looked up what the Green Party stands for?
Do they stand for reparations? Because they don't.
They do
Because
actually.
what
Do you know who
It'll
John
never happen,
Baraka?
but what if everybody voted down the middle and it was 50-50? That's why you need a third party.
No, because they like to shit on the Green Party. Do you know John Baraka?
I guess so. But the electoral college,
You
they
know,
don't.
John,
my
my
point
point
is that they don't have
party
satisfaction to do anything
thing,
for
bro.
anything is what I'm saying.
So, but if we never supported third party, how do
listen.
they get traction?
No, that's not what I'm saying is what you do is then cape for the Democrats so hard that we don't even know that you care about a Green Party. You don't educate anybody in here about anything other than what them niggas are doing. And I think that's what I'm getting at as far as the example that you set for what it is that you represent.
So when
Because I don't know shit about the Green Party because you the person here who's with them.
So when
and you ain't never said shit about them. So why would I know?
So when you guys,
I don't say I
so when
represent
you
the Green
guys
Party.
advocate
You do.
for conservative policies that I don't agree with, you just automatically associate that with me caping for the Democratic Party.
What was old
I
girl's
don't-
name? Jill Stein.
Yeah, Jill Stein.
She was dope.
Yeah. So I've always maintained on this show since 2016. I'm not a Democrat. I'm a progressive.
Not everything,
I
but
never,
I like
I've
Jill
never
Stein.
identified with Democrat, especially at the presidential level. When it comes to local, we're talking about mayoral. We're talking about aldermen.
what Democrat do you
if we're
kick for
talking,
mayoral?
if we're talking about that, I vote party
Democrat
lines.
do you vote for
Don't-
mayoral?
Don't cut me off.
You said Mario. I'm just asking.
Don't cut me off.
Footage of him saying he fucked with Joe Biden.
There is.
I promise you.
There is no footage because guess what? Y'all always try to corner me with that shit, and I say I vote green.
There's been times where
I'm about
I
to pull up
vote
a whole
green.
montage
There's been
next.
times where I made clear.
I vote
wanna make
green.
Clear that you always say you vote green, and you're not doing it right now.
I say
You
I
said yes.
I said explicitly
I wanna
I
be
have a friend in the administration, so I'm not gonna
You didn't
criticize
give the
him.
reasons on them.
Yeah, oh I absolutely,
There's been times when you've given reasons, yes.
my bro.
Those times
Have I
where
gave
made
the
it
reason
clear.
why on several shows. And so this is the thing. If I give it on show 5, 6, and 7, you bring it up on show 12, 13, and 14, I'm not gonna keep saying the same thing over and over again. You know why? I'm not criticizing the administration. I've
But you can
said
say the
it,
same
and
thing
I
vice
said
versa.
it, and I said it today.
You're adding the
So,
extra caveat in
no,
there. I
I'm
didn't
not.
say that. All I'm saying is there are times where you have said who you were voting for, and it was clear that it was not a Green Party. It was Joe Biden, and I guarantee you did it on episode.
Kurt Keys.
Because I know I questioned it. That's
Kurt
all.
Keys,
I don't want to argue with you
I'm
about it.
telling you, Kurt Keys, if you go back since 2016 that I've been doing this show, I've been voting Green Party.
And we've
I
heard
got
you.
pictures. I can pull a picture up on my Instagram when I vote, and they be like, "Don't take a picture in the motherfucking voter booth. Who you voted for? It's the Green Party, right?" Even if I ain't have all the fucking information, I didn't vote for Democrats and Republicans because I've always been progressive. I've never identified as a Democrat. I've identified as a progressive, just like you don't identify as Republican or Democrat, but you are conservative, correct?
To the core.
Okay, so this is not a foreign concept to not identify with a party, but identify with an ideology. I've never identified with the Democratic ideology. Like I said, the last time I voted Democrat
None of that
was
has been
the
challenged
first.
or questioned.
Was the
All I said
first?
was Joe Biden.
The first
I'll tell
time
you one thing.
Barack
I've only
Obama.
said Joe Biden.
The first
I don't care
time
about all
Barack
that you talking
Obama
about.
ran.
I'll
Joe
tell you
Biden.
one thing that you've always identified.
Joe Biden. That's
That
all I
mouth, that mic being on your mouth.
What, boy?
That
Joe
mic.
Biden is all I
Bail yourself for that one. Why are you looking at my mic and my mouth in that way? In a sexual
All right,
way.
listen. All right, listen. We ain't going nowhere with this. Let's get to the next fucking
Joe
topic.
Your man, nigga, Joe Rogan. He's like, what's my man? What's the man with the gold shit? He's Trinidad James. Don't believe me? Just watch, nigga.
So what do y'all want to start with Joe, man?
Play some clips. Let the people get some context.
So look, Joe Rogan has recently been under fire.
Hey, bro, pass me that drink over there.
Damn, you got tequila? Son of a bitch.
You too far in now.
I know, right? I gotta keep going with the whiskey. So
Got to see it through, my boy.
listen,
My boy.
Joe Rogan has been under fire for, in my opinion, his stance on the vaccine, which has led way to people digging up old clips on him, saying some really, really wild things. One of them being a clip that was brought up with him using the N-word. Now, I'm not going to bring that clip up because, in my opinion, that's a little derogatory. That's a little redundant because that clip doesn't really show Joe Rogan actually using the word nigger maliciously. Now, granted, he said the word nigger with a hard ER, which is definitely not acceptable.
That nigga, he didn't say nigga. He didn't say my nigger.
However,
it pains me to say nigger. Like my mouth, it pains me when I put my mouth to say nigger.
Hallelujah, it's raining men.
You got men on your mind tonight.
I'm just saying, ease your mouth up, man.
That's you.
Ease that mouth, man.
Oh my God, bail yourself. What did he say?
He said it pains his mouth.
To say nigger.
It's raining men.
I knew why he got him.
So look, and granted, like I said, the clip of Joe Rogan, nigga. Each clip was like a millisecond of him saying the word nigger, which was that. But I do want to play some things that he did say.
One thing, if you really hip to this motherfucker, right? Because I just want I want to throw this in here.
Yo, by the way, you've been real careful about everything you've said tonight.
Yes. He's a privileged motherfucker, right? White guy. That's not surprising. So, in that, I just want to add context to that video because I had this conversation with Kirk earlier in the week. I told him I'm a little hip to Joe Rogan from a buddy of mine. A buddy of mine has been watching Joe Rogan for a long time. And that clip, and I'll be honest, right? I'll be totally honest. Because I'm a black man, I'm a proud black man, I'm pro-black, whatever fucking term you want to use. But in those clips, what Joe Rogan was doing, right? You know how white people could be in conversation and for whatever reason the term nigga comes up and they'll say N-word, right?
Yes.
Joe Rogan, instead of saying N-word, would actually say the term. Now, I understand it's people who feel like regardless, it's never okay for a white person to use that term, right? I guess you could say that's, I don't want to say if that's debatable amongst black folks. However, that I've seen that argued. Let me say that. I've seen that debated.
Okay.
But that's what's going on in those clips. It's come from a very privileged place where it's, oh, I'm Joe Rogan, I'm a white guy. In my mind, I'm not racist when I'm doing this. When I say nigger instead of N-word. So in majority of those clips, that's what's happening. It's not exactly that he's being like, he's not referring to a black person as nigger. It's conversations with guests on his shows where for whatever reason this term comes up and instead of saying N-word, he says the actual term.
And I agree with you. Like,
word.
so, and that's why I feel it's redundant to play the clip because regardless, whoa.
It ain't redundant.
Hold on. I don't deal in emotions, right? I'm not an emotional nigga, right? So I'm not going to debate with you because you used a word that is in the English language and you didn't use it maliciously towards me. Whether or not I think you're full of shit or not, I'm not, as a man, I'm not going to be that emotional to be like, oh, you should have said it, blah, blah, blah. I'm not that nigga. Go find somebody else. Now, I will say this, though. He has said some things that are cause for some concern. And I will play those clips.
Get to him.
I would definitely play those clips.
Hold on. Before you do that,
Everybody wanted to.
so I don't think Joe Rogan is racist, but he's being willfully ignorant. Because even if you're a white man that grows up in America, he hangs around enough black people. He's in sports, MMA, all these things, right? He knows the response that that words gets. That's why he apologized for it, right? He understood from a fundamental level, just like you said, that I can say N-word, but I chose to say the other thing, and we got to examine why he did that.
But I think we have a clip where he also talks about it.
But when
the same apology.
And when it comes down to when you put somebody in court, right? The first thing they say is this is a character witness. This is a credible witness. So it came out dealing with all this other shit, right? But you got to look at somebody who is willfully ignorant on a lot of things that you expect somebody of that level of wealth or that level of prominence to have an understanding when they put that mic in front of their face, what they're going to talk about. They should have that level of understanding. So he tried to play, I don't know at the end, but brother, you knew.
And I'll say this for the record. I don't know if Joe Rogan's a racist or not, but guess what? If I had to guess if he was a racist or not, I would say he is. But hear me out. I don't give a fuck. Because if you think about it, a lot of white people are racist or prejudice or whatever you want to use. But see, my emotions don't tie me to someone's thoughts about me or about my people, no matter how minuscule or major they may be.
But play the clips.
So I want to play the first clip because I think this one is relevant. The Planet of the Apes clips. Planet of the Apes.
Hey, for those who see this online, watch how your man who wasn't with the shit, how he leaned out the screen. My man on the left, when they start saying that, hey, Trip, did you pay? He said...
Now this is a long clip, so people, I saw that too.
Your man said, I ain't with this.
Bear with us. Hold up, give me 1 second. I fucked up. 1 second.
What? You messed up the clip?
Let me fix the.
Can't be.
Bastard.
That's impossible. Not Trip Simpson. So let's give a little context why I setting up the clip. This is Joe Rogan circa 2011, 2012 maybe.
Long time ago.
Talking about whenever the Planet of the Apes movie come out, y'all can reference that. He's talking about him and his friends going to see that.
So anyway, we can't go to there. So I go, we got to go to one where there's Planet of the Apes, man. We're going to go see Planet of the Apes. So I look on the iPhone app. And it says, okay, take me to this one. And
Fair use.
Goes, okay, I goes, that in a good
Fair
neighborhood?
use.
He's like, oh, yeah. Guy barely speaks English. He takes us there. We get out, and we're giggling. Oh, we're going to go see Planet of the Apes.
Guy
We
barely
walked
speaks
into
English.
Planet of the Apes. We walked into Africa, dude. We walked in the door, and there was no white people. Planet of the Apes didn't take place in Africa. That was a racist thing for me to say. But you see what I'm saying. What I'm saying is...
Flies automatically stuck to your head.
Yeah, what happened is we walked into the blackest neighborhood we could find. I mean, there was literally no white people. It was amazing. And everybody was super cool. You know, it wasn't a negative experience. And this is something I wrote on Twitter, that we all went to see Planet of the Apes in a black neighborhood, an experience I highly recommend. And all these fucking people started calling me a racist. I mean, dozens of Twitter people, dude, I didn't know you were racist, fuck you, like black people were saying fuck you. I'm like, listen, man, I am saying it was a positive experience.
Yeah, it was
I said
party,
I highly
right?
recommend it. And it was a black neighborhood. And we get in there, right? And we're so giggly high. We're like, oh my God, we're so high. And then I realized, like, whoa, everyone's black here. Like, well, I mean, everyone's black here. This is crazy. And then a bunch of people recognize me and they start want to taking pictures. And it's all good. Everybody's cool and friendly. Cool as shit. Like this guy goes, yo, man, where I know you from? I don't want to bother you, man. I'm not trying to use up your time. Where I know you from? I go, Fear Factor. I go,
Y'all don't see how he switched that?
Yeah, you peep the accent though.
yeah, that's it.
You make us
But it's the way he said it was like so cool.
like
How many people did
and
this
we're
smoke rock
giggling.
thing?
Oh, no one did the
I
smoke
like
rocks
that
thing, but I took a lot of guys.
I don't like being mocked.
Like a-
You can tell a story without doing
white
that.
people
Friendly.
all
This is not
day.
a negative story. So then we go into the movie.
Hey,
right?
hey, Jimmy,
It's me, Tommy, and like maybe there's
All
another white
day.
person, maybe one other white person. Movie theater filled with black people, and they are having a good fucking time. And you know how people always complain that black people talk to the movie theater and talk to the screen? Yes, they do. Yes, they do. But it's good.
It adds to the experience.
Fucking yeah. If that's what you know, and like, so the way I felt like, I'm like, look, I'm in their neighborhood. This is how they go to the movies. Who the fuck am I to be offended by how they go to the movies? They were at the movies, and I'm not saying all black neighborhoods do this, but this particular black neighborhood, these people brought babies, bro. I mean, there's a lot of people with babies. Yeah, I mean, it wasn't just one. These people in front of us walked in, and they had toddlers, like little 2-year-olds, sitting on their lap to see Planet of the fucking Apes at like 10:40 on a Friday night.
Didn't give a fuck about
Didn't
school.
give a fuck.
Nothing.
Didn't give a fuck.
Friday night, there's no school the next day.
But I'll tell you what made me really nervous.
There's no
and
school.
Made me feel kind of weird was
Hey, that was
watching
funny.
all of these previews of all these different TV shows or all these different movies rather that are coming out, and I'm watching these movies and all of them are about white people.
Oh, weird.
And I'm sitting there and I'm going,
Yeah,
wow, this
welcome
is
to
weird.
reality. Why we gotta watch the
imagine
white
being
videos?
a black person. And I always thought like people would complain, like I'd hear black people complain about, oh, there's no films for black people, there's no roles for black actors, and I'd be like, so go make your movie. What do you want from me? You know. But when you go to a goddamn movie theater with all black people, that's when you really feel it. I'm sitting there in the audience, and all these people are black, but every movie preview is white. There's no black characters. And then finally there's this movie with Jonah Hill. And they show a preview for the movie. And it's Jonah Hill, and he's doing all this different shit, and he's babysitting kids, but he's supposed to be like a cool guy. And the way they show you he's a cool guy is there's an old black guy working like at a door at a club. Like the black guy's there, and Jonah Hill's talking black to him. You know, it is what it is, brother. It is what it is. And I'm watching this with all these black people. I'm watching this white guy talk like a black guy, and I'm in this fucking theater filled, and I'm like, and I'm high as fuck. I mean, just barbecued, sitting there soaking in this experience, going, wow, this is fucked up. Like, no wonder why black people are angry and they feel disenfranchised. Like, they're completely removed
only has
from the
sympathy when it gets
mainstream
high, huh?
cultural experience in a lot of ways. Like, there's a tiny
Weed
percentage
sympathy.
of black people that are included in movies. So finally, Planet of the Apes plays. Everyone's white in the movie except the bad guy. The bad guy is a black guy. And I thought it was so strange. And not only that, he's the bad guy who owns this giant company, and he has an English accent. It's like not only is he it's like you couldn't have a brother from Philadelphia that figured out how to own this corporation. It couldn't be a guy, even a brother that talks like a regular businessman type dude, you know, who's like, well, what we need to do is acquire this, and you know, once we get that, and then we'll be on moving, and then we get in the Forbes. You know, no. This guy has an English accent. He doesn't sound like anybody you know. And this is the only black guy in the fucking movie. And I'm like, wow. And then the rest of the movie is just badass monkeys. Just badass chimpanzees.
So was
man.
the CGI awesome? Was it?
Oh my God, is it good? First of all, the movie is the shit. Planet of the Apes is a dope movie. It's a good movie.
I fuck with Planet of the Apes.
So based on that whole context, if you feel like that was a racist like connotation because he said he walked into Planet of the Apes and then he did say, you know, there's a black accent. I feel like he gave his perspective. I think when we put our conversations in context of how we talk about white people is very little differences in how he talked about us.
I agree with you, Kurt.
And so
I agree with you.
We want to like get all emotional and feel some type of way because of how he explained it, but it's just because we sensitive as fuck and we need to get it out of our feelings,
dude.
Because that's how they talk amongst themselves, and I don't hear any problem with it. Because if he said all of that in front of me as well, he was playing that out and would be like, no offense in between like here and there. I'm not even gonna take no problem to it because
listen,
that's how I would describe that same shit if I was in a different experience than what I grew up in and what I know.
Yo, I agree with you wholeheartedly, Kurt. Like, granted, I will say this: if he was talking about Jewish people the same way,
he would be canceled.
He would apologize just like he just did,
or be canceled.
Right. But at the same time, like I'm not that emotional about shit. Like The nigga gave a honest white boy response, which I respect, because I want to hear what people honestly have to say. Now, I might not agree with you.
I like outside content.
And I'll give you an argument, and I'll insult you and your culture in the same conversation. But she need to be canceled for that. And I'm not here to cape for Joe Rogan, because I don't give a fuck about it. I don't know him. I'm Jay Prince on everybody want to cape for Joe Rogan. Fuck all that. What I'm saying is,
Yeah, niggas is wild caping for this nigga.
what is he really being canceled for? Speaking his mind? Or being a stone cold racist?
So we gotta. I bet if we go through every Joe Rogan show that ever existed, he's never said a derogatory Jewish term. I bet he's never said kike in explaining the story. Right? He's never said cracker.
He used the term small hat before.
Yeah, and why do we know he used it? Because it was probably an immediate like when he used the term. He probably only said it once and never said it again. So that's the thing, right? If you're gonna be the free speech guy, say what I want, I do what I want. I look at not only how you treat my culture or talk about my culture, how you talk about your own culture. There's not been any disrespect or any walking the line, walking the red line, walking the fine line with any other cultures but our culture, right? Because we don't have any recourse to reprimand him when he does shit like that, right? So half of that was all right, but half of it was like, oh, I have a black friend, so I can say this. That's the vibe it was giving me. So if I'm feeling on the fence, I'm gonna look at your history. Are you applying this freedom of speech, this free speak, this free talk across the board? He is not. That's how I know it's disingenuous.
I feel you. Kirk.
Fuck what he talking about?
Come on, you have to elaborate. Because then you can fuck what he talking about, and then somebody else gonna talk. Him like, and you gonna break in once.
I mean,
once the weed wears down.
I mean, I just think Joe Rogan. Do I think he's a flaming?
Before you say that, hold on. I feel like
See, this is what he does.
Play, no.
First Kirk says
no, because I feel like this is a good time to play a 30.
Then you start talking. He's like,
shut the fuck up and let me finish. I think this is a good time
to him. Fuck that. You need to feel that.
I think this is a good time to play the 30-second clip, and then he can elaborate, and then I'll elaborate off of that, or I'll elaborate and then he elaborate off of that. It's the clip that he sent me, so play that shit. That's why I wanted to do
the apology.
No. The 30-second
one. Oh, the little 30-second
clip. The 30-second joint of them talking about black people and but nigga, I sent you how many videos? One of them 30 seconds. Play it. That's what I'm saying. Play it.
I have that, but that was all.
Play it.
The 30-second clip that you're talking about is the one where the guy came on his show and was talking about. First of all, me personally, hold on. No. Let me finish.
All right.
I feel as though it's irrelevant because that clip shows another motherfucker talking shit about black people
play it.
that he didn't even agree with.
Okay, I know, and that's my point. So play it.
So, okay, I gotta load it.
But no, I
go ahead.
I just think Joe. Do I think he's a flaming racist? No, I'll be honest. I don't. I use this. This is a crazy ass example, and I'll admit that I don't. But like I think I was talking to Kirk, whoever the fuck I was talking to. But like in the hypothetical race war, I don't think Joe Rogan is a proud boy, bro. I don't think that.
Oh, you was talking to me. You classified the different types of white people. I don't There's think, 3 of them.
In the hypothetical race war, I don't think Joe Rogan is a proud boy. I don't think he's running to the like, oh, white boys, let's go. Like I think he's one of those white guys. Like when you force his hand, he's gonna go with his white homies. That's what I think.
He basically also explained there's 3 types though. Yeah. You got the one who's like super pro-white, we over here. That's the white nationalists, the white supremacists, those type of guys.
And they're usually the poor and underclass.
Yeah, but they also got some ones with money. That's why they leading that shit too.
I don't want to do this shit. I don't want to race war.
But if you're gonna make me, I'm gonna go over here with my guys.
I'm gonna go with the white boys.
And then I think
that's what Joe Rogan is.
And then there's some white people.
Then you got some white boys who are so like progressive and they hate racist white folks so bad they'll fight with us.
Until they want you to wear a dress.
To continue to fight. Be like,
You know what I'm saying?
you look too strong. We're never going to
I
win
think
that
Joe
way.
is in that middle. I don't think he's a.
I like that. Look, sidebar. You didn't fall for the Republican filibuster. He throws out wild terms like that until they make you.
What wild
and
term?
just to throw you off. To throw you off your game. You
funny.
just let it go.
Nah.
He's hip. He's
Bro, when I say
He was
I'm
like-
when I
he was
say-
like-
He's been hip. We've
he was
been
like-
arguing on Facebook
he was like,
for
well
years.
played.
Listen, me and Trip will go back and forth on Facebook, bro. But at the same token, I've went back and forth with his friends too because I've agreed with him. Cause so we definitely have that 50-50 dynamic. I will not deny that I have some conservative views, bro. I do.
I think you're the only person
do.
who's super against him.
Like I don't
Only until it comes to women.
No, that's the funny.
I can remember
That's
no,
what
that's-
baby
that's-
all agree.
No, that's
This
the
happened recently.
That's the funny part. If you watch the show, me and him agree a lot more than you think. We literally got a behind the scenes. We pick topics that we can have some disagreement on because a lot of the things we do agree on. It would be bad TV if all three of us got up here and just agreed.
Right.
It's
I
not good for us or the black community if we're not pushing
Each
progressive.
other,
and pushing progressive conversations.
Yes, I agree. So but we was on his status, and it was somebody. He was like, "Yeah, Trippy." Basically, he was saying Trippy going at the black celebrities, and I'm like, "Yeah, I'm with him.
Deservedly.
Yeah, I'm with. He right.
They trash.
It's no reason why Kanye, Dre, Diddy, why these motherfuckers ain't got together yet and tried to. Come on now, I'm with them on that shit." So, and that's I just gave
Don't
that
talk.
example.
Look, don't talk about Kanye next to Kirk Keys.
Kanye?
You might get a beer bottle upside the head. That's his man's right there.
So look, while I have my criticism of Joe Rogan, there are some things that Joe Rogan has said that could be seen as
not gonna play the
beneficial.
clip.
Hold on, I'd like to play some other things.
Of course.
Yo, give me a break, Kirk. I got you. Give me a break. Give me a break, my
He
nigga.
got you, but he ain't playing that clip.
He
He
ain't
don't
gonna
got
play
that
that
shit.
clip though. He said, "Fuck that clip."
All right, let's go.
I was at that time. Foreign policy and imperialism, why would we not have been doing that here at home? You know, I mean, we know that Fred Hampton was killed outright, the leader of the Black Panther Party. So all of these things are kind of make more sense when you look back at history and see how kind of out of control the CIA was at that time.
Yeah, I mean, it only makes sense that they would want to get rid of certain characters that were causing trouble.
Right.
You know, I had Mike Baker on who used to work. He was a CIA operative, and he looked into the the Martin Luther King assassination, and he said that one more than any other one that he looked into seemed like something was really, because James Earl Ray was like a loser, just like this shifty guy, and then before the assassination, all of a sudden he had money. All of a sudden it looked like he was being steered, and he went into great detail about it. I don't remember all the details, but he was shaking his head about it. He's like, that one, out of any one that I looked into, had the fingerprints of manipulation on it.
Well, you know about his family, obviously, Martin Luther King's family, that had that civil trial and basically concluded that the U.S. government had to have been involved for
A lot
the
of people don't know
circumstances
that.
to have happened the way they did.
A lot of people
and if
don't
you
know
look
that.
at how Martin Luther King at the time was
His
considered the
family
most
won that case.
dangerous, quote-unquote, Negro in the country, that's what the government was saying about him. I mean, he was hated, he was loathed, he was trying to basically implement like a
something to say
poor
about
people's campaign to occupy D.C., to give poor people economic rights. That was really, really threatening, I think, to the establishment at that time.
Also, you know, it's hard for us when we're thinking back about that era. I mean, we weren't really. I mean, I was born in '67. You were born after that. It wasn't. We don't understand that era. That's 100 years after.
Yes, we do understand.
Just 100. A person's lifetime.
A person's lifetime, yeah.
Kind of crazy,
Right.
You know, and things still hadn't been resolved. And then when you look at it now, I mean, Juneteenth, they had the congressional hearings, and they're talking about reparations, and you see just the different polarized sides of how people look at it even today, whether or not reparations should be given or whether or not there should be any sort of effort to rectify the obvious. If you look at the economic strife that's in these southern cities that are primarily African American, that are really from slavery. I mean, this is literally the remnants of slavery, and it's never been fixed. It's almost like any other problem that would be in our infrastructure, any other problem that would be in anything with pollution or anything else that people clearly did, where someone did and fucked it up. There's efforts made to fix it, and there's discussions about it. But this is so much resistance.
Right. Ta-Nehisi Coates, I think his name is, he was testifying there, and he was saying that, the argument is we had nothing to do with this because, again, it was more than a person ago. Why should we have anything to do with what slavery did? And it's beyond that, though, as you're mentioning. I mean, this is an institutionalized racism that we still see the effects of very starkly within the prison community, within, I mean, all these things. And he said we were still paying out Civil War soldiers' families' pensions decades after that. So, like, why do that but not actually try to, provide some economic justice to the Black community?
Yeah, it's a weird conversation. Because it's not just a conversation about whether or not something wrong was done, but it's also a racial conversation. Like, I've seen some weird posts, like, Chuck Woolery, the guy who's from the Love Connection. We'll be right back in 2 and 2. Remember that guy? Do you remember that guy?
Yeah.
Well, that guy has turned into this like serious hardcore right-wing pundit. And I think it was him that was tweeting about reparations for Union soldiers for their families that died.
So he was saying
fighting
we need
in the
more?
Civil War. Like, it was like, how about these people? And then, like, not saying, how about the fucking people who's like brought over here from Africa in chains, and their great grandchildren are alive today in the same communities?
Well, it was the basis of our capitalist society. I mean, that's why we're the richest.
Man, that shit.
I'm just saying, real conversation.
How can you be mad that that's having these type of conversations?
I can definitely be mad about
Want to pick apart that type shit. That's what it is. That's what it goes to
personally,
show.
the real talk. I boil it down to this is a white guy.
Whoa.
We're very
Listen.
No, pause that. No, pause that shit.
Let's have a conversation.
We can't let that last
Trip,
clip
this
go
is
by.
a white guy.
We cannot let that last clip go by. It's something that the first thing he said, he was like, yeah, this shit happened. We didn't understand that time. Who is we that didn't understand that time? The people who lived it, who were oppressed, understood that time. They were fighting against it. The white people who were in charge, who were going against the people who were oppressed, understood that time. Both sides understood that time. So that lets me know he gives that fake white, I don't know. It's so weird. He uses these terms. It was so weird. It was amazing. It's that ambiguous.
He didn't say amazing.
Hey, Cosby, I'm gonna keep it G.
He
right?
didn't say amazing.
In my opinion, right? This is just from my experiences. I
He
swear.
did say it was weird. Oh, it's
He did
weird.
say weird.
It's
All right.
weird. I don't know.
But he
It's
didn't
not
say the
weird.
he didn't say the time was
Racism
weird.
and white supremacy.
He said it's a weird
To
conversation.
me, he's speaking from a place, real talk, nothing more, nothing less, of white privilege.
What his experience
This is
of
a
it
white
is.
male
He's talking to his audience.
Who's grew up in privilege, who's lived in privilege, who doesn't exactly understand. And I'm not caping for this nigga. I don't give a fuck about him.
It's just you want to be on the high rise, shish
to
boom
me,
bye.
if you follow him, close enough, these type of conversations he's having all the time.
So how many times can you have this conversation and still have a lack of understanding?
He's not the one.
Hold on, no, that's my thing.
Where do you think he has a lack of understanding?
How many times?
Whoa. Everybody, hold up. Let's bring this back into perspective. I'm turning everybody's mic up.
Now, when you're talking about someone who's 30, 40, 50 years old, we can't expect 20 years to outweigh 30.
Hold up. One thing that you have to respect is the fact that he has people on his show
having these conversations.
And he's having discussions
and
about
his perspective
reparations.
isn't one that he was acting like he's lost on. He said we need reparations.
He said, and I quote,
Don, bitch ass pink lemonade.
No.
Won't have these conversations on CNN.
We're talking about Joe Rogan. So don't try to bring anybody else in.
The point
and
is,
I quote, he said, man, this is a crazy times that we didn't understand. Who is we and who didn't understand?
Who
because the people.
I answer the question.
Go ahead.
I answer the question. First of all, and I want to give a disclaimer here. I'm not giving any white person any impunity or any disclaimer from knowing the facts of history, right? But Joe Rogan is half Italian and half Irish. He's a fucking immigrant to America. An immigrant to America. He's not an Anglo-Saxon.
Okay.
He's not a part of the 8% of white folks who are still left over, who actually came over to this country.
In Joe Rogan's lifetime, Irish and Italian people were considered white.
Slow the fuck down. What I'm saying is this. The fact that this white boy would go this far in the reparations further than Charlamagne the God on the Breakfast Club.
Anybody.
You're quoting all these people who are not Joe Rogan. So you
matter.
can't use other people to
Here's what you can do,
abstain
though.
Joe Rogan.
What you can
Joe
do
Rogan,
is-
I'm not caping.
That's
Hold
not
on.
what
I'm
we're
not
doing
Joe
at
Rogan
all.
literally said,
Bro, that's
man,
listen.
Hold on. Whoa.
That's
We
not
didn't
what we're doing at
understand.
all.
This was crazy
Everybody,
times that we
please.
didn't understand. Who is we and why
You're
didn't they
cutting me
understand
off.
it?
You're cutting me off. This is what I'm saying. The fact that this nigga has a fucking platform that goes this fucking far
Niggas is mad.
is why I say I don't think he should be canceled. Do I agree with everything he says? Fuck no. Do I think he's a racist? Probably.
I don't think he should be canceled. I never said Joe Rogan should be canceled. But I can recognize when
I want to get into some more shit.
I recognize someone's shtick, right? His shtick is in all of these situations, I claim ignorance. So in one sense, you can't say he's bringing on all these smart people, educating the community, starting these conversations. And he's been doing this for 10 years, right? And then you're still claiming ignorance when somebody comes and you start talking about racism in America and you say, we didn't understand these things.
So
At
let
one
me ask you this.
point, after you interview all of these black people, you talked about all these situations that you can still come on your platform and say literally, and I quote, it was a crazy time. We didn't understand what was going on. So the people who were enslaving African Americans, who were practicing white supremacy, who were benefiting from it, they understood what was going on. The black people who lived during that time, who were under Jim Crow, who were under white supremacy, who were under the foot of these things, understood what's going on. So how at this point Joe Rogan does not understand what's going on, and we didn't understand? Do you think there's any people in America that doesn't understand of race relations?
Yes, I will. I would say it's the black celebrity class, because these conversations ain't even going on their platforms.
Yeah. So
no.
you're saying Charlotte?
Fuck that.
So hold on, hold on.
No, motherfucker.
So
I just let you talk.
Charlamagne
I didn't
doesn't have
cut
these
you
same
off.
conversations?
I didn't. No. Fuck no, he doesn't.
Yes, he does.
No, he doesn't.
Who has he brought on that Charlamagne hasn't
I
brought
would
on?
argue that he does.
That bitch.
And on the Breakfast Club, forget her white ass. On
So
the
do you even
Breakfast
know who
Club,
that
he
is?
brings people on though.
Abby, whatever her fucking name is.
Do you know where she came from?
No.
So I watched Abby Martin for years. She's had shows on RT, right? A very super progressive show on RT, right? So I would say Joe Rogan brings on super progressives. Joe Rogan brings on super conservatives. You mentioned Charlamagne. Charlamagne brings on conservatives and progressives on this show.
Bro.
Bill Maher brings on conservatives and progressives. It's plenty of people in media who can tell both sides of the story, right? That's not what we're talking about. We're talking about how you interject yourself in the conversation, how you synthesize these ideas, right? We could look at a Larry King. Larry King is, I say, arguably the most famous interviewer of all time. He's had murderers, conservatives, liberals, and everybody in between. Larry King is known one of the greatest broadcasters of all time because he gives people a platform. Joe Rogan is slightly different. He's endorsing things.
He doesn't do the same thing?
Joe Rogan.
The difference is the times, and that's it.
Nah,
Larry
it's
King
not.
was actually controlled because he was mainstream media on CNN and all of that. Joe Rogan is uncontrolled, and that's why they try and cancel his ass, because he can talk about whatever he wants. Because the following is going to follow him no matter what, because it's not on mainstream media.
That's not true, because
what I'm going to
people exist on both sides in mainstream media, like you're talking about.
The
Sean
Hannity
Hannity,
as well through like UFC and all those other things, but not through his platform
and you look
of
at the
speech.
other way. If you're the other way, the Joy-Ann Reeds,
You talking about Larry King. We didn't ask about all these other people. We talking about Larry King and Joe Rogan. We talking about the difference and the similarities of Larry King and Joe Rogan. That's what he was talking about.
But
the
that's
best
why,
of all
but,
time,
but that's why I'm
the
saying
best of right now,
why
arguably.
Why Larry King is considered the best of all time, because he did not take a stance. He gave everybody a platform.
Exactly. I don't
So,
think
but all
I don't think Joe Rogan takes a lot of stances either. He gives a
Yeah.
lot of platform.
That's why
and then he does also give his opinion because it's his podcast.
But
And he
that-
can do
but
that.
that's why he
Larry
did-
King couldn't do that because he didn't have the freedom because you're on CNN. That's the difference.
That's not
you
true.
are controlled. If you start to give your opinion, it is the day that they will start to decide whether they want to or do not want to get rid of you.
I'm not because there are plenty of people on those platforms that give their opinion that are the highest paid people. Before
Yeah, okay.
Cuomo got kicked off, he gave his opinion on a lot of stuff. And
Yeah,
guess what he
well,
was?
and then he- what did
was
he do?
He was the highest.
then what did
paid,
he do?
He was the highest paid person
And
on
what
there.
did you just say?
If
he
we
got
go,
kicked
if
off.
we go
and
to
why
the,
did he get
if we
kicked
go-
off?
if-
Because it wasn't controlled.
If we go to the opposite, let's talk about Bill O'Reilly.
You get making
Bill
your own
O'Reilly
points.
was the
You
highest
making
paid
your own
person on
points.
Fox. Bill O'Reilly was the highest paid person on Fox News. He gave his opinion on every show.
Bro, you're not
So-
listening. Joe
Not
Rogan is not
listening.
on any of these
because he's
platforms.
uncontrolled. And that's why they want to shut him down. And that's why they're doing what they're doing.
No,
that's the whole point. You're making my point.
No, my point was Larry King
I don't
was a
care. Your
Larry,
point is
no,
right.
my
You're
point
making
was
mine,
no,
is what
my,
I'm saying.
My point was Larry King was a neutral party, and he had
And he was
foreign
controlled.
from to conservatives
And he was
to
controlled.
liberals to foreign Democrats to dictators. He had everybody on this show, and he gave him a platform.
While
He did not interject his opinion. But if you talk about Joe Rogan,
on a podcast, not on
If
a
you
CNN
talk about-
television show.
but they're all media.
I know. I feel
Podcast
you.
is just a form. We're still
and
media.
it's a new form of freedom.
Podcast
you have
is
the
a form
freedom
of
to say
media.
whatever you want right here. You are uncontrolled.
Yeah, you have a freedom to say what you want, but you don't have freedom to consequences.
Obviously,
right?
This is what we're gonna do.
Larry
You
King.
do.
No one has
Joe
a freedom.
Rogan clearly is exercising that
we're
right
going to
now.
go to
We're
more-
looking-
He
We're
does
going-
it. He
we're
does
going
it.
to
You don't-
go-
You don't have freedom of consequences.
Fellas,
you're right.
Fellas, we're gonna go to more videotape. All right. Jesus fucking Christ. All right. Where we at?
Come on, Johnny.
Yeah,
you said all that, and you wasn't ready.
All right.
An experience.
As are my roots from Ireland, Scotland, Germany, exactly the same.
Yes.
So what if we're very
Yes.
sensitive? We're very sensitive.
Yes.
I think the root of most of this is coming from the racial issue, black-white, and we need to define some terms, and this I think is very helpful. Instead of saying African American, Black, Negro, whatever we've had in the past, I prefer ADOS, which is a lot of people understand this now, which is American descendant of slavery.
white person- one
makes
white
very
person
clear
say
who you're talking
ADOS.
about. So
No,
you
shit
can
his
say black,
pants.
but Kamala Harris, not black. Black, yes, black in color, but not American descendant of
So
slavery.
you would make a clear distinction between an American descendant of slavery and someone who,
If we want to fucking
who
fix
came
our
from
country,
Nigeria.
yeah, we got to
Yeah.
do that. If we
Right.
want to fix our country, this is what we have to do. Malcolm X said before he became, Nation of Islam, crazy, a little off the radar for me. He said the only way to fix the racial problem. In
Remember
the United
that.
States
Put a
of
pin on
America
that. Nation of Islam,
First
crazy.
of all, I don't agree with what
I
he just
agree
said about
100%
that.
with what he, I just like
A white man and a black man sit down at
Like,
the table and work
yeah,
the
true.
fucking shit out. That's what he said. And I've been doing that for a year.
Yeah.
Because of a podcast, Mo Facts with Adam Curry. But I've been talking
I like
to
how
this.
you did that.
I've been talking to this. This is exactly what happened. He started calling me, explaining to me what.
First of all, everybody, I'd like to give a shout out to Mo Facts. Mo Facts is a podcaster. First learned about him on the Star Report.
Shout out to Mo Facts.
Great podcast. Shout out to him.
What ADOS was. I was trying to figure it out on No Agenda. And we were talking for an hour once a week. I said, fuck it, this is a podcast. And I have gotten an education in he's like
Does
10
he have a
years younger
website?
than me.
Who is he?
It's mofacts.com. MOEFACTZ. Mofacts.com.
Is that his real name?
His name is Mo.
His real name.
That's-
Also, shout out to Yvette Carnell and Antonio Moore.
Shout out to Joe Rogan. Keep questioning. He said what the man's name is. Is that his real name? Yeah, nigga. We go by abbreviations, Joe.
I'll give you that, Cohen.
That's not facts. Is that his last name?
No.
Imagine if it was. It's like he was born for this. He's like the Dalai Lama.
Well, it's like Trump is 45 Savage. You got to have your.
What does that mean?
45 Savage, 45th president, 45 Savage.
What is 45 Savage?
That's President Trump.
But what?
That's his nickname.
A rapper called 21 Savage, Joe.
I'm
hello,
old, bro.
hello.
Somehow or another, I'm younger than you, but older than you.
I got lucky this time. I got fucking lucky.
Yeah, I don't know
anyway,
what you're talking about.
So
I'm listening to country
what
music
if
lately.
what if our problem? Okay, so when you have ADOS, American descendants of slavery, which
This
most
country music is soundtrack.
If you have
too.
ADOS, when politicians say the black and brown community, they feel
Kurt
fucked.
Keys, you're over here looking at thoughts.
Because it's not
my bad.
just
That's
this is a group of very special Americans who deserve to be
shout out
recognized.
to Hazel
as such.
Vixen.
Right.
This is why they've always been.
Guys, we have to listen to the clips without you interrupting.
This shit long as shit.
I'm trying not to turn on your mic.
And led down the path of voting Democrat, and now there's all this shit is in play. So that's why black-white is always played on us, because that's our weak spot. That's our Achilles heel. We're embarrassed about it. Yeah, I agree with you. Fuck yeah, America. I love my country. I love our country. But we have some fucked up shit that we instead of dealing with it, we're letting other people hijack us over it. That's what's going on here. And it's not racism that we suffer from. It's nepotism.
I disagree.
It's nepotism. And I'll explain why. If it truly
Cut
was,
him
and
the
I can
fuck
tell
off.
you,
He said all that about
systemic
black and white and said
absolutely
we're not
existed
suffering
in
from
America.
racism.
Listen to
And
people,
it
though.
went all the way up into
Why
the
do I wanna
70s
listen past that?
with no man about the house rule. When they came up from the South and went into the projects created by, I guess, FDR, and because they typically ate their own food. Now they're coming here to work. So the projects were created and welfare, but you could not have a man in the house. And this went into the 70s. They had patrols making sure that there was no family with children and a father. Now we have 75%.
What he's saying is true,
all
but if he
children
gives
in
that
America.
context, it is not based on racism.
Bruh,
And
you
then
gotta
says
just listen
it's
to the
nepotism.
goddamn clip.
No, so this is the thing.
We can talk about it after it's over. Jesus Christ.
I don't want to co-sign ignorance.
We're not co-signing it. I'm pretty sure we're gonna argue when it's over. Let the fucking clip play.
Without a father in the household. You and I, we got parent privilege. We're not white privilege, parent privilege.
I disagree with that.
My dad was, didn't work out that great with us, but
I've got
he
parent
did put some
privilege.
shit into me, and I grew up, and he was around, and there was that influence was there. That's our problem. Who's running Black Lives Matter? Name me one male leader of Black Lives Matter. No.
I see why you wanted the clip to
And I have
play.
no problem with it.
He hates
But
everybody you
I do
hate.
question what's going on here.
I can't argue with you because I don't know who the leaders are.
Oh, Patrice Cullors. There's a number of women who, and they all come
he
from
he hate everybody you
old
hate.
radical kind of Marxist. Just one more thing.
You don't even know
True
what a Marxist
communists
is.
in 1936 they wanted to come and overthrow America. This has been going on for a long time. We tried to export democracy. They tried to bring socialism into us. Clear. We do it by blowing your country up and rebuilding it, and they do it other ways. They came in, they wanted to propagate this message, and no white people came, but the poor black people came. And so they became very associated with Marxism and leftist ideas, and they were basically taken through into what is today is, I guess, the Democratic Party. And that's
completely
not working
ignorant.
anymore because there's just
That's
strife and
completely
no difference.
ignorant.
See that type
That's
of shit.
completely fucking ignorant.
All right, so look, this is what we're gonna do. I'm gonna go with you. Our guest. What's your comments on that?
My issue with that is when white folks talk like that, they aren't considering all of history, bro. You understand what I'm saying? Like, black people aren't like that just because. Black people were kind of forced into that position. You understand what I'm saying? Societal.
Can I stop you right there?
Yeah.
Because your first point was black people aren't like that just because. And then your second point was they were forced into it.
Meaning in the sense that, like I said,
Tell him play the end of that clip back from where he said we went through this situation
Let
and
the
then we
man
end
talk.
up in Marxist because he might not.
what I'm saying is this. If you understand Marxism and what Marxism is, black people, we never had a position in America that the white man had. We had to look out for each other, bro. We were in a position where we couldn't think about.
I think that was his
us.
point, though.
That was not.
I didn't get that.
That was not his point.
You know what I'm saying? And that's what I feel like as far as white people, Republicans, the right, like a lot of what they say isn't wrong. I just feel like a lot of what they say doesn't consider historical context.
I like to respond to your point.
I like problem
hold
with that.
on. I like to respond to your
like
point.
he said, white people will tell you, Republicans in particular, pull yourself up by the bootstraps, but that doesn't consider how you all made this shit against us. Now that this shit is not like this, you're saying pull yourself up by the bootstrap. But it's like, bruh, that don't eliminate the decades of time that this shit was this way.
But that's not what he just said. That's not what he just said.
You don't have the boot.
Hold on.
Boots on your neck.
Now that's not what he just said.
That's not what he just said. What he just said was black people were put in a position and then basically given an ultimatum where
one thing he said was, he said black people came out for that Marxism type shit. That's basically what he said.
That's not what he said. That's not what he said.
Play the
He said Black Lives Matter is led by that.
That's why I said play the clip
black
back.
people was coming out to support the Marxism.
Play the end of that clip back.
Did you hear why he said why?
Play the clip back.
Unless he said it a second
We're not
time
going
and
to
I
debate.
missed it.
Play the clip back.
Existed in America.
Wasn't even that far.
And it went all the way up into the 70s with no man about the house rule.
Wasn't even that far. It was the last 2 minutes.
That's true. Systemic racism absolutely existed in America.
You did go far with shit.
And it went all the way up into the 70s with no man about the house rule. When they came up,
A broken
from
clock
the
can be
South
right twice a
and went
day.
into the projects created.
That was
by-
right, but the rest of the shit was
All
broken.
that shit.
And
We went back for one clip, not to listen to this. Fast forward to the clip.
Shut the fuck up and let the clip play.
You went back 5 minutes. He said it in the last minute.
If we're going to replay the clip, we have to get it in context because you act like you couldn't hear what the fuck he said.
I
So
heard
I'm gonna play it again.
I heard everything he
So
said.
everyone else didn't. So let them hear it.
Yeah, we did. All right, good.
You the one that asked.
You the one that didn't hear it.
Absolutely existed in America. And it went all the way up into the 70s with no man about the house rule.
This is the Republican
When they came up from
filibuster.
the South
Jesus
and went into
fucking
the
Christ! Shut up and let the clip play, please.
The clip is playing. You know you replayed the same part 3 times. They heard that.
Do you realize that you keep fucking talking during the clip?
I do realize that.
in America. And it went all the way up into the
You heard
70s
this already.
with no man about the house rule. When they came up from the South and went into the projects created by, I guess, FDR. And, you know, because they typically ate their own food. Now they were coming here to work. So the projects were created and welfare, but you could not have a man in the house. And this went into the 70s. They had patrols making sure that there was no family with children and a father. Now we have 75% of all children in America without a father in the household. You and I, we got parent privilege. We're not white privilege, parent privilege. A man, my dad was, didn't work out that great with us, but he did put some shit into me, and I grew up, and he was around, and there was some, that influence was there. That's our problem. Who's running Black Lives Matter? Name me one male leader of Black Lives Matter. No, it's all women. And I have no problem with it. But I do question what's going on here.
I can't argue with you because I don't know who the leaders are.
Oh, Patrisse Cullors. There's a number of women who, and they all come from
the
old radical kind of Marxist. Just one more thing. True communists in 1936 they wanted to come and overthrow America. This has been going on for a long time. We tried to export democracy. They tried to bring socialism into us. Clear. We do it by blowing your country up and rebuilding it, and they do it other ways. They came in, they wanted to propagate this message, and no white people came, but the poor black people came. And so they became very associated with Marxism and leftist ideas, and they were basically taken through into what is today is, I guess, the Democratic Party. And that's not working anymore because there's just strife and there's no real solutions. And even the first African-American president, not ADOS, didn't really deliver for them. So this election, this time right now, they're fucking with us because of this one thing, for their own power, left and right.
Into one.
Turn my fucking mic down. Nobody heard anything anybody said. I turned everybody's mics down. If you listen to what the fuck they had what the fuck he said, if you listen to what the fuck he said, all he said was there was an infiltration of Marxist ideology into America's
But
psychology.
why?
Yeah, that's what he said.
And what he said was, if you look at the results, nothing came to fruition from black folks adopting that ideology.
Because we didn't have a military or guns to be able to enforce what we felt. So that's what it really comes down to. When you talk about community policing, community programs, like the Black Panthers, are you a fan of the Black Panthers?
I like the Black Panthers.
So Black Panthers would have been considered a Marxist organization.
Yes.
Are you a fan of
Facts.
SNCC?
Listen.
No, don't listen to me. Are you a fan of SNCC?
I would like to
Student Nonviolent.
I would like to use one of your
led by
phrases.
Kwame Ture.
I believe the answer has nuance. I believe the answer
I
has
give you
nuance.
that. Are you against SNCC?
I'm not against SNCC, but I am.
Okay.
But I am.
That would be considered a Marxist organization.
Okay. So can I answer the question?
Are you against Martin Luther King?
No.
Martin Luther King was considered a Marxist.
But hold up. I would like to
Are
answer.
you against me, Trip Simpson?
I would like to answer the question, and I would like to give the floor to our guest. So to answer your question, Cohen, I'm not against any of these people, but I do see the flaws in their ideology looking back down the road.
What was their alternative?
So there's multiple alternatives.
What was their alternative in 1960 through 70? Alternative to community building, coming together as black people, violent or non-violent, participating in group economics, participating in uplifting through community, which they label Marxism. What was their alternative? With
First
no
of all,
military, no money, no guns to fight against the well-funded white supremacist-led American government. What was their alternative?
First off, if you're trying to lead a movement based on Marxism, right, and you don't have a military, that's a mistake within itself. Second of all, Marxism, communism, all that shit is also a white supremacist-based ideology that doesn't work for black people also.
So they said that black people were associated with those things. Did we actually practice those things?
Hold up.
No, we did not.
It was called the Black Panther Socialist Party.
So Marxism and communism is different from socialism.
First of all,
They're all different things.
First of all,
they're all different things.
First of all, shut the fuck up and let me answer.
Don't do word association.
Nah, nigga. No, fuck you. I'm gonna answer this question.
Go ahead.
The Black Panther Party, in my opinion, was a great idea, but I don't think they executed it well because they underestimated the system that they were involved in. And yes, I do think other groups infiltrated them and ultimately led them to their downfall. First of all, when you're in a country like America that's a superpower in the world, you can't do what they did. The only way to succeed in America is to group up, boss up, and come together for your cause. When you try to branch out and when you try to get all of these other motherfuckers that don't fuck with you in the first place on with your cause, it's not going to work. Socialism in America is not going to work, especially when you're 12% or less of the population.
So how are we going to group? How are we going to group up at 12% as the population?
Shut the fuck up and let me finish my goddamn point.
How are we going to group up at 12% of the population? Who we
There
going
are
to
other
group with
groups.
us?
There are other groups that have more influence than the majority.
They white, right?
There are other groups that have more influence than the majority.
They white, right? Or
In this
considered
country,
white? They're considered
that
white,
actually
right?
No, there are Asians. There are Hispanics. There are Indians that have also done it. But you know what they've done? They've shut the fuck up. They've learned the easy game that is capitalism, that it is America. And they've done it.
Spanish people learn this? Spanish?
I mean, you heard what I said,
Have
man.
Spanish people learned this? I didn't know that.
Two-Tone, what you got, man?
Yeah. There's because because I gotta get out of here.
Espanol?
But I
Senor?
mean, I don't know, man. This shit is tough, man. This shit is tough. I just want to put black people at the front at the end of the day. I don't want to step on others. You know what I mean? I don't want to do that in the process, but I just want to put us at the front of the line. But this socialism, communism, all that shit, similar meanings, different terms, different things.
It's all
but,
isms.
You know, like I said, us as black people, we adopted a lot of that shit because we were forced into it in the ways of you know, the laws, the ways, legislation in America. You know what I mean? We had to adopt ways of looking after each other. I do think we should adopt more forward thinking as far as where America is headed, where it is today and where it's headed as compared to where we were. So I do think that. But yeah, man, like I said, as far as how all this pertains to Rogan, man, he's a privileged guy. That's just how he speak. He come from a privileged place. Like you said, he could be. Maybe when it all boils down, the guy is racist, maybe, but he ain't knowing that shit, in my opinion. Like, I don't want to say David Duke. That'll be an extreme example. What's my man name? What's the white nationalism nigga name, man? Yeah,
he's not a Proud Boy.
Yeah, he ain't a Proud Boy. He ain't
punching in the face.
Richard Spencer. He ain't Richard Spencer.
He don't gotta be because he worth 100 million.
Yeah. He ain't Milo Yiannopoulos. He's not one of them motherfuckers. But yeah, man, this shit is funky.
That's a fact. So you know what? No, we'll do. We'll just go ahead and get into all our final thoughts. Kurt, what you got?
Guess that means it's my turn, eh?
Hold on. How you like the final thought beats this week?
I liked all the beats. I know you didn't ask me particular, and I'm not here every week, but all the beats I heard, I liked them. I wanted to freestyle.
I think you're in the wrong profession. You should have been a producer.
Except he ain't make none of these joints. He just picked them.
I mean, he can Diddy the situation. Diddy ain't make the beats.
First of all, I used to be a producer.
I can see him.
He played the keyboard. He was the keyboard player for.
We'll talk after the show.
What's the name of your band?
Simply Marvelous.
Keyboard player for Simply Marvelous, and everybody know the keyboard player produces the music.
For sure, I'll vouch for that. I've been in a band. That's facts.
That's cute for you.
Yo, Kurt, you got glasses, man. Don't look at me like that.
Clearly, he has a glasses fetish.
All right, so your question. Back to your question. I think of the Final Thoughts music, this is one of the weakest. However, I mean, it's okay. I can talk over it.
Get this shit out of here.
So,
I got better shit.
Crack Over Reparations.
Crack Over Reparations.
Volume 1. Produced by Joe Biden. 2022.
I like that.
Is the mixtape.
I like that. Crack Over Reparations.
I don't got nothing more to say. It speaks for itself. This shit sells itself.
We had reparations, niggas gave us needles.
Exactly. So, in every form, whether it be pandemic needles or Amsterdam needles, which was also pandemic needles because that was what that shit was called. Pandemic, red caps, blue caps. Niggas ain't even gonna know the correlation.
Yes.
Oh, that was a double entendre. Oh, that was so mean.
It was. I wish I had a fucking Lupe Fiasco shit for you.
Stop the cap.
Blue cap. Anyways,
I know you're gonna look after
about
family.
That.
What family you talking about, Ice? Fuck, I look invisible, nigga.
That's crazy because my double entendre that y'all need to look up if you're not hip already was my favorite TV show, and that's my favorite movie. Paid in Full right there.
I know you're gonna look after family.
But Next topic was Joe Rogan. Yeah, who knows if he's racist? Who even cares? The reality is the opposition exists, and the reality is I want to hear what the fuck they talking about. And I think he
I
does
know
it
you're
better
gonna
than
look after
anybody.
family.
So as long as I can hear what they talking about, then I know the moves we need to make. If everybody willing to make them, or if everybody ain't willing to make them, it don't really matter. Cause we gonna make them joints either way. That's numero uno, and numero dos is I mean, the podcast is pretty lit. I like the different alternatives and perspectives that he gives, whether it be people who agree with the way that I think and I like the way that they think, or whether it be people who disagree with the way that I think and I don't like the way that they think, or if it's people who I listen to and they kind of might send me to do some research and dive down a goddamn rabbit hole that I ain't never expect to be down and learn something new. He gives all them type perspectives. If you ain't listening, maybe you can learn something. If you mad about some emotional ass videos that they gonna use you as a pawn for so they can get his ass out of here so that they can continue to push their agenda, then go ahead and be that pawn. But nigga, you the weakest nigga on the board. Do your thing. Those are my final thoughts.
Conan Cosby.
What level is that Johnny Walker at? Let me see that bottle. Let me see the Johnny. That's what, ladies and gentlemen.
We're under the 12.
This is why Trip Simpson has been acting like this for the last 20 minutes.
Hold on. Here's my shit right here.
You went full retard, man. Never go full retard.
Never go full retard.
Look, I just wanted to put that out there why, he was going off the rails a bit. Let's start with Joe Rogan. Just because that was the last topic pulled up, I'm just going, roll with that one. For one, I don't think Joe Rogan should be canceled, right? Because I'm a capitalist and I believe in a free market system. The problem is conservative snowflakes preach free market all the time, but when free market is turned on them in terms of people canceling subscriptions, disagreeing with what they have to say and disagreeing with their dollars. When I cancel something based upon something that I don't like, I'm disagreeing with my dollars. That's the free market system. And that's why I know they're not genuine about what they really feel, because when the free market system is turned on them, they start crying. They say censorship. It's cancellation. Spotify didn't cancel Joe Rogan. People were canceling Joe Rogan because they didn't agree with what he said, right? Do I care about some random white man saying nigger in the small sense of things? No, I don't. Because I don't know Joe Rogan. Nothing about Joe Rogan can affect me. In the larger sense, I do care about it because he's desensitizing white people to that word. Because he wasn't saying the N-I-G-G-A. He was saying N-I-G-G-R. Nigger. You fucking nigger.
He was saying N-I-G-G-R so he can smoke weed all day in the car.
Nigger. Like that shit just hit different. So him apologizing lets me know it was willful ignorance. He said, I haven't said it in a long time. Why haven't you said it, Joe? Because you got in an era that you could be held accountable for saying it. When he was underground and it's YouTube and nobody knew who he was, they only cared about Fear Factor and UFC, he could say those things on the small terms. But once he signed those deals, he's beholden to somebody. Joe Rogan apologized. All these free speech advocates, all these people's like, guess what he did? He apologized.
I know you're gonna look after family.
So apparently his speech wasn't as free as you thought it was.
I know you're gonna look after family.
Spotify deleted over 100 of his episodes. So apparently his speech wasn't as free as you thought it was.
You went full retard, man.
So we're gonna look at character, right? When you put somebody in court, you look at, are they a character witness? Are they credible, right? In my mind, Joe Rogan is incredible on a lot of issues because of his decision making. And if he decides to make these type of,
it's a compliment.
If he decides to make these type of decisions and then claim any type of intellectual or moral authority in other situations, when you claim willful ignorance on so many other topics, it's not looking good for me.
Hey, I don't shine shoes anymore.
Let's go to the next topic. Joe Biden and the crack pipes. Me being in media and marketing, I love a sensational headline, right? But when you me being in media and marketing, I love a sensational headline. So when I saw that, I immediately like, oh shit, this is crazy. I know this is not the real thing, but this was a funny ass headline. And I noticed all the conservative outlets picked it up first. So I was like, okay, let me just read into it. Right? So they were proposing giving funding to drug kits, clean drug kits, which includes syringes, pipes, baggies, whatever your run-of-the-mill drug user uses to do drugs.
I don't shine shoes anymore.
So this particular policy is not a new policy. Several countries have adopted this who have legalized drugs. Yes, so and it's been proposed here under Democratic and Republican rule. So for that to be proposed again is not a new policy. The fact that they added that racial equity thing in there, that's problematic. Because black people and white people use drugs at the same rate in this country.
Hey, I don't shine shoes anymore.
But what I will say, we do not have access to the same treatment, and we are over criminalized for the same drug use. So
I know you're gonna look after family.
I understand. How many buttons you gonna press, bro?
I'm giving you props.
I don't need no more buttons. So
whoa. Oh shit.
It's rain.
So when that policy came out,
he gonna press all the buttons.
It was a alligator with no teeth, right? It was us trying to be aggressive on a policy that didn't need that type of aggression. We didn't need to be mentioned. The policy just needed to be enacted because everybody uses drugs at the same rate. So to include black people in that, in a racial equity standpoint, was them trying to score brownie points. Yeah, that was not the time to do that. So that seemed extremely disingenuous. In terms of our policy on drugs in America, it needs to be legalized, right? If we look at every other industrialized country who's legalized drugs, the rate of infectious diseases, the rate of death, all factors of quality of life related to drugs have gone down. But what we are addicted to in this country, we are addicted to prison dollars. We are addicted in this country to prison dollars. We haven't been addicted to prison dollars since the 1920s. Since the black codes, America has been addicted to prison dollars. Since the vagrancy laws, we have been addicted to prison dollars. So until we address the inequity in the prison system where black people are locked up at a extremely disproportionate rate for the same crimes that everyone in our society commits, and then we are disproportionately targeted for extraction of wealth. When we talk about extraction of wealth, if you want to send your loved one a letter, you got to buy a stamp for an email. Why do you need a stamp for an email? Because they're extracting wealth. If you want to send a digital FaceTime to your loved one, you have to send $12. Why does that cost as a digital transaction? If you want to call your loved one, there are extra charges put on in that. In the era of the internet where everything is free, everything related to incarceration costs money. Even before you are convicted, even before you're convicted of a crime, you can be put on an ankle monitor that you have to pay for before your court date. another chance for them to extract wealth for you. So we have to understand that our criminal justice system is set up to extract wealth from the black community, and that's what we need to address, not policies in name and frivolous things. That's my final thoughts.
Facts.
Well said, brother.
Real quick, I'd like to give a shout out to everybody on the show. Excellent final thoughts. And I'm gonna get my own real quick. It's not gonna take long.
Yeah, right.
That's what she said.
See, I ain't going. You said that was a woman. You said it's raining men. What's on your mind today, Trip Simpson?
What's on my mind today? The topics at hand.
Eggplant.
Topics at hand.
Eggplant parmesan's on your mind today?
So look, Joe Rogan. Listen, he said the word nigger with a hard R.
It's raining.
Oh no, there's a man down.
Listen, man.
I'm confused by your buttons today.
I don't think that
Need to reel this nigga in.
Hey, reel him in,
Thought it was you. It was him.
I don't think that.
No, it's raining men.
To be honest with you, I don't think that Joe Rogan should feel comfortable saying the N-word so comfortably. I think that he should have just said the N-word when he made his spiel 70 times.
Need your ass whooping, nigga, 25.
So, I mean, I'm not here to cape for Joe Rogan, right? But what I am here to do is cape for black people. And as far as black people need to go, when it comes to Joe Rogan and this whole debacle, right? You have to understand that you're being played on a chessboard, and we can't allow ourselves to be played like that. The only reason that anyone is up in arms over Joe Budden at this point, and let's be clear, the person who put Joe Budden on blast,
Rogan.
Joe Rogan, sorry, the only person that put
reel him in. Shout out to Johnny Walker Black.
Shout out to Johnny Walker Black. The only people who put Joe Rogan on blast were his own. The ones who didn't agree with his stance on the jab. See, Joe Rogan has been making the statements he's been making for years. And a lot of people have made complaints about Joe Rogan's statements, and it's fallen on deaf ears. I find it ironic that now that Joe Rogan has bought on the inventor of the RNA technology that's in the majority of the COVID-19 jabs that are on the market, who has spoken out against him. Now they want to cancel him. It's very interesting because the person who made the clip about Joe Rogan using the N-word a bunch of times is heavily involved, because nobody owns a super PAC. But he's heavily involved in a super PAC, a super PAC, Political Action Committee, that has donated heavily to Democratic causes, is speaking against him. And as a black person, that raises red flags to me, because I don't want to be in the middle of some other people's bullshit. And I think as black folks, we have to be mindful of what we're being put in the middle of. Do I think Joe Rogan is a racist? Probably. Most of them are. I don't know whether he is or he isn't. I assume that he is because I don't know him. So when you play all these clips of Joe Rogan saying this and Joe Rogan saying that, I'm numb to it. Doesn't mean anything to me. But I'll tell you what do mean something to me. mother, not my mother, my grandmother, my aunties, my uncles, a couple cousins, sisters, all voted for Joe Biden because Joe Biden was going to make everything better because he was so much better than Trump. And now Joe Biden wants to hand all of you motherfuckers crack pipes. This has been this edition of Straight Talk No Chase.
This has been what?
This
Reel this nigga in.
This has been this edition of Straight Talk No Chase. I'm about to get back to my bottle. Oh, you crackheads, get back to your crack pipes. We out of this motherfucker for myself.
This has been this.
Cosby Digital, Kirkland, Costco, Keys, Too Tall, who has abruptly left the building.
Sean Too Tall, Jacob Noel, Wheeler.
Shout out to Jacob Noel. He has new releases coming out. What date?
He says you want to make up my own names.
You gotta tell me or say it in the mic.
Oh, he said they out. Oh, there you go.
Oh, damn, they already out.
The Jacob Noel stuff is out.
Shit.
Out already. Yeah. You can hit me up on Instagram, no order, Jacob Noel _.
You motherfuckers ain't getting nothing. Straight Talk No Chase.
All flash shit.
We out of this motherfucker.
You went full retard, man. Never go full retard.